You're listening to My Grito Podcast Network, celebrating the culture of Chicanos and Latinos one story and voice at a time. Listen to more My Grito Podcast Network shows over at mygrito.net. Connect on social, on Instagram and Facebook at My Grito, the My Grito Podcast Network.
3, 2, 1. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers. Joe, thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Feedback Mezcal is what we're going to be drinking at the top of this.
Yeah.
Later, we'll probably be drinking something else. We don't know.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for having me.
Salud. Have you tried?
Oh, that's more of a sipping thing, huh?
Yeah.
I just listened to the other podcast, too. But, you know, it's just the Mexican in me. But I'm also part Irish, so, you know, sometimes just down the hatch. As I heard you guys, I was already like, gulp. And I was like, oh, that's right. Shit. Should we try that again? No.
We can sip it this time, though.
I will sip it this time.
Thank you, Feedman Mezcal.
Thank you, Federman.
Go down to the show description, check them out, feedmanmezcal.com, and you sip it, ladies and gentlemen.
The words were coming out of my mouth as I seen you go.
I didn't see him do that.
Yeah, I saw him like go, and I was like, I'm
There we go.
just gonna let it
Thank
happen.
you. Yeah, I'll sip
Yeah.
this. Thank
Sip that
you.
one.
Thank you
I
very
mean,
much.
there's no mezcal police here, you know. It's
Amber's a
sweet.
mezcal
No,
police.
I'm
It
not.
sounds like it.
No,
Sounds-
I'm not.
If I remember that last podcast, I heard you a couple times. Definitely bring it up. She brought it up. Like,
I don't even drink. How am I the police?
some people just like the rules.
Even better. Even better. I wouldn't want my police to be drinking mezcal all day.
No,
A sober police person is a lot better, right?
100%. Unless you're cool with those police.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't me. I didn't say anything. I think since you heard I was a Scorpio, I'm on
Biased,
your
yeah.
bad
Yeah,
list
yeah.
now,
I'm
huh?
biased. This
That's
is
what
very
happened.
recent, like within the last month. So obviously, I'm just like,
You
I
still
don't know
hurt?
about you guys.
Who hurt you? Who
I'm
hurt
not
you?
hurt.
A Scorpio hurt you? I can see
I'm a
that.
man. I don't get hurt. That's
Sip
hilarious.
it. There you go. No.
He
Had to
shoots it
resist.
again.
I wanted to shoot it.
Welcome to the podcast, dude.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited that you're here, dude. You have
Thank
no
you.
idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So how you been? What's going on?
At the moment, currently signed with My Grito, which you know about those guys, cool guys.
Nice.
And currently we're working on releasing a new song, which is from this EP that I've had for a while now. I've just been like slow releasing everything. And outside of that, just working on new music with the band. Got some fun shows coming up.
Yeah.
And if we're just talking about Joe, me as a person, I'm just...
We're going to talk about Joe as a person. We're talking about Rare Hearts, your projects, everything, dude.
I'm stoked. I'm stoked to talk about it.
Good times, bro. Oh my, if you haven't heard Rare Hearts, this song is probably, it drew me in, bro. Like,
Yeah.
just everything from beginning to end, the lyrics, the music, the harmonies, the melodies, everything, dude. All of it. I enjoyed it. And I keep enjoying it.
Yeah, you said you listened to it a couple times, though.
A lot.
Right?
More than a couple times. I had it on repeat. I was doing laundry and I had my Grito playlist going on, and that song like came up on the playlist, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is a really good song.
I really appreciate that. That's definitely been one of my favorite songs ever. I remember when I talked to My Grito and they'd listened to, it's like a 6-song EP, which I don't think is going to be EP anymore. It's just going to be a bunch of singles. While we recorded the first album, we like listened to it all and they're like, so what song do you want to release first? And I was like, it's got to be this one. Like, I don't know. It's just been...
So you released that song with My Grito?
So technically, no. Like,
Good
actually,
times, right? Yeah.
You're right, 100%. Now that I think about it, that's what got me signed with them. I had just released it, and I played at this open mic called Alivio Open Mic, which is like a really dope open mic in Southeast LA.
In Bell, right?
Yeah.
I just got turned on to that like not too long ago. Somebody, I think it was Rudy from
Mexico City.
was telling us about it.
Yeah, Mexico City Heartbreak, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, Rudy is the reason for all of this, honestly. I love that guy so much. He was my photographer for one photo shoot. I had just done a couple, and I was just trying to get content right for releasing Good Times. And sure enough, he did the photo shoot with me, and while we were doing the photo shoot, I was playing the entire EP. And he's like, dude, this is cool stuff, man. I was like, thanks. He was a super sweet guy. Long story short, I guess someone fell out of a Levio open mic, and Rudy, they asked Rudy, and he's like, oh, I know a guy. And they hit me up, and I was like, yeah, I'm super down. You know, this is like during the pandemic, really haven't been doing that many shows. So I go out and I do the open mic, or it's more of like a show than an open mic. And it's like streamed for like YouTube Live with the Night Flare, this guy David from Night Flare, super cool guy. And it was a cool ordeal, but I guess because of that, My Grito saw it. And when they saw it, they heard Good Times, which I had just released, and they were like, hey, can we put that on a compilation album? I was like, yeah, 100%, please do. That compilation album gets picked up by 88.5 and Latino Alt Radio, I believe. And they play the whole thing, and they'll just hit me up one day and like, hey, your song's going to play on the radio on Wednesday. And I was like, yo, what? You know, it was like a really cool moment, actually, like listening to it on the radio. They're like, for the first time from LA. I was like, oh, shit, This is what I've dreamed about, you know? And then My Grito was like, hey, what's up, man? Like, you want to possibly sign with us? And I was like, or also Wiretap at the time, because like they work together. And I was like, yeah. And we kind of like slow talked for a half year, you know, and honestly, it was a really crazy time for me anyways. And while I'm getting my life back together, they're like, hey, well, maybe if you come at us with a music video, like we'll talk more, like see how serious you are. And so I made a music video for it, released it, and ever since they signed me. But yeah, that's like the story of Good Times. Like it really just like made everything happen for me. Like I put it out there. Kind of just luckily, you know, and like very like passively, like it's on everything you need it on. Like here's the song, guys, and then got lucky with that show, and then the rest just kind of like snowballed itself into where we are today.
Tell me about how you wrote it, like the lyrics.
Okay, that's
because
good story.
They are Amber. You've heard this song, but have you heard the lyrics? It's like super. It resonates with you. Like if you've been through like something like a breakup or like just missing somebody or just thinking about somebody like that.
Who are you missing?
That is a song.
It's a good song for that, right? And that was the sentiment behind it all. Was because I write from the heart a lot. Like on my phone right now, I have like 1,600 recordings, and like out of the 1,600, maybe like 500 to 800 of them are real songs, you know what I mean? But it's just all from the heart. And so that's how I write, is always from the heart. And I usually just like freestyle stuff. So sometimes I get lucky and I'll freestyle and I'll get like lyrics like that where you're like, yo, this is coming from somewhere. I'm channeling it.
Right.
But that particular song was about a couple different breakups. And I remember I was hanging out at my sister's house in Pasadena, house sitting. And I was with my homegirl, who I haven't seen in forever. This cool chick, Liz. She's like very into music. She's like, one day I'm gonna have my own radio station type of person, you know. And we're just drinking, and we're just talking about shit we remembered from our old relationships, kind of going back and forth. And I was like, I actually have a song kind of about that, you know. And it was just like, let's remember the good time. And she was like, oh, and I don't know. She kind of hyped it up. And I remember just like, fuck it, I'm going to make this a song, because she just like really loved it, you know? And I was just like, I don't know. That was like when that song was born right there. And I think I have that OG recording of me freestyling some of those lyrics and being like, oh, that's a verse. Like, okay, like, thank you, universe. Like, but yeah, that's how that song, I wrote that song about a couple different relationships, because it's not about just one person. It's a multitude of relationships. 100%.
Yeah.
Can I play a little piece so I can?
You know what? It's probably going to flag us on the music video, but probably play the music, but don't show the video.
Okay.
We can do that on Spotify.
Yeah. Let's go.
It's on the Spotify link.
Same thing. Well, the reason why I say that, Amber, is because we played
Right,
some
two
of Harry Katz and the Pistachios. His like jam in the van, and I got flagged for it.
No way.
Even though it's his content, isn't that crazy?
That's super crazy. What do you have to like register for that in advance or something now?
I don't know. You can. There was ways for me to
Yeah, like buy a licensing.
No, like there's like ways for me to just play it. I don't want to keep bore anybody with this YouTube nonsense.
It's still bullshit though. That's fucked up.
Yeah,
I gotta go through that.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, I do love this song though. This is one of my favorites.
This dude,
sure. Yeah.
This was it. Give me some volume. What are you doing? I'm here to rock out with Joe, dude.
Wasting time all night, getting wasted, just so we can do it some more. Just so we can do it some more.
I can give you the play-by-play if you want.
Play-by-play, dude.
All right, let's pause it here now.
Like that part in particular was just like, I don't know if I've been around, okay, not like I'm experienced in relationships, I've had good ones, I've had bad ones, I've been in and out of that. And I don't know what that says about me, but hey, I'm on the market again. And here I am. And there's just like one of those relationships where like you do nothing but you just have sex. You just have sex and do nothing. And maybe you get drunk and just have more sex. But that's it. That's the whole relationship. And you try to like do anything outside of that and it just doesn't work, But like, so that's what that whole line was. Like, just so we can do it some more. Like, let's just like do nothing. Let's waste time getting wasted. 'Cause,
Right.
like, we're not going to do anything anyways but the same thing we've been doing. If I'm breaking that specific like line down, it was just like, I don't know. I've been in... Maybe it's me. Holy shit. 2 relationships like that.
There's a common.
Is this a therapist session?
There's a common denominator in both of
Your
those
whole
relationships.
family. Let's have your whole family come
shit. They're gonna
out.
come in.
Intervention.
Intervention. Damn, I set myself up. What is this, My Grito?
Imagine.
Like every person you've
Oscar
ever
and Rob
dated.
just come outside of
We're
the curtain.
We've heard about your nickname and your past.
Right.
Maybe it's our Zen vibe. It makes you reflect on
there we go,
yourself.
yeah.
You do have a very zen vibe. It's been very peaceful. It's this.
Thank you.
But yeah, I want to flip the script a little bit. What does that song mean to you? Like, how do you feel about that song?
Yeah, tell us. What does that song mean to you?
She's like, damn, put me on the spot right here. Hold on.
This podcast is about Joe and Rare Hearts. Okay, it's not the Gil show. It's not MB 167 with Gil. It's MB 167 with Joe from Rare Hearts.
Let us know if you want me to grill him on another episode. I'm kidding. All right.
No, I think it's just the overall tone of the song. That's it.
Here's something funny, and it was really encouraging to hear. That person I was dating, that Scorpio, is a very well-connected person, and someone close to her, I guess, put like Guns N' Roses up and shit like that before they were Guns N' Roses, like as a promoter or something like that along those lines. And this person heard, they were like, you should check out Joe's song. And I wasn't the kind of guy to be like, check out my shit. You know what I mean? I was just like, just chilling with everybody, not trying to like network, just there to have a good time. And someone's like, check out Joe's song. I was like, oh, all right. And he checks it out and he's like, dude, this is you got a little hit right here. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. And he's like, you just need the right person to hear it. And I was like, crossing my fingers. He's like, you just have to be willing to like exploit your heritage a little bit. And I was like, I signed to My Grito because not to exploit my heritage, but to like align myself with my heritage, you know what I mean? And be like, yo, this is a community-based thing too. But yeah, no, I love that song. I feel very, like the way I look at music and creating in general is like, I do my best to just channel it. I try to just be like more of a vessel for a message to be passed to. Like that's the most hippiest, best way I can explain it. So when I'm doing it, there's no thinking most of the time. It's just feeling, like, oh, I'm feeling this, press record, and then something comes out, and I'm like, oh, thank you. This is a really cool message that I resonate with. You know what I mean?
Do you ever get those moments to where like you have to like do something, like you don't know what it is, but you just feel creative at that exact moment, and do you just run with it like at that exact moment, like pretty much what you did for the lyrics, right? Like you just freestyled it, the words came to you, the melody came to you, whatever, right?
Yeah,
that happened.
That happens all, like, that's my thing. Like, I would say that's my superpower is, like, I improvise a lot and just freestyle. Like I can sing, but, like, my writing, the way I write is in that form where I'm like, okay, I feel something right now. I could be happy, I could be sad, I could be mad, whatever it is, whatever I'm feeling in that moment, I just, like, I'll grab my guitar, or I'll sing something, but most times I grab my guitar and, like, I don't know. I don't even know how it happens at that point. I just, like, let go because I feel the creativity. I'm like, no, I need to get this down, whatever this emotion is. And I've come up with, like, a lot of songs that way. A lot of songs that'll definitely be coming out in the album next year.
So did you moved it? I was going to say keep playing it.
No, I have it right here.
Yeah. I haven't heard it today, that's fine.
Floor, drinking my Sailor cherries, reminiscing of you. You used to get me so high. You kept fussing on. Yeah, you sang the same old song, and I say, let's remember the good times, baby. We laid in the bed, wasting time all night.
It was like that point at the minute and 20-second point before you did that yeah, or even before that, like when you did like the second, I guess second verse. No, I'm fucking it up. Yeah, the second chorus.
The second time around, maybe.
Yeah. When you did that, I was like, this is a fucking good song. This is fucking awesome. This is like, I have to hear this again.
Do you feel like it's because it's like a nostalgic feeling behind the song?
It could be.
Because
I can hear that.
I've been hearing that a lot.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, it's got like you got a very 90s style.
Yes,
to it, you know?
and that's what it is, dude. Like it's the lyrics, yeah, but it's also like the tone, like I was saying earlier. Like there's this certain tone that you have.
It's like grungy, but not grungy. Like you're somewhere in the middle of like that 90s grunge.
It's like grungy meets like Radiohead because you have like all those different like octaves going all at the same time, and then it keep playing it, and then it has like this megaphone sound.
Yes, I love that for this verse. Yeah.
He's drinking champurrado.
Very savory.
We're giving you champurrado. We have regular cups. Why do mugs?
We also got Motalada in the house, along with Joe. Thank you, Motalada. I'm running out, by the way.
Gonna need some more.
We're gonna need some more. Ah.
I'm always down for more. I love this instrumental part.
Yeah. The Mind Buzz is powered by Mind Buzz Media. Mind Buzz Media is an on-site video and audio podcast production company. Have you ever thought about starting your own video and audio podcast? Or do you have an existing podcast that you want to take to the next level? Mind Buzz Media brings a professional podcast studio to you. Visit mindbuzz.org for more. I can't, dude. I have chills. Chills right now.
Are you gonna cry?
No.
You can cry. No, it's safe.
You can cry. It's a safe space.
Yeah,
It's a safe space.
I'll make fun of you after, but on the show, you're
Yeah.
safe. I'm kidding. Oh, it sounds great, though.
I wish you could see the music video right now. Have you seen it?
No.
No. Well, let's just watch it, and if it gets flagged, at least we heard it.
That's fine.
You sure? No, I don't want to get you guys flagged. Like,
No, the it's fine. Go for it.
Sure.
Yeah, I think
Let's do it.
I think because like Harry Katz, his video was like published by somebody else. I think it was published by Jam in the Van. That's why they
maybe.
Just say that you're consenting to
I know.
this.
I'm consenting to this, YouTube. This is my song that I released on DistroKid myself.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Does that count? I hope that counts.
Yeah. I'll clip that and just send it to them before
send
they
it to
flag
them.
me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look, he's in the video.
Yeah.
So that was like one of my exes, funny enough.
Let's remember the good times, baby.
And who shot this?
This is my buddy Jay, the Gray's Multimedia.
Wasting time all night, getting wasted. Just so we can do it.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I had to do the projector thing. I don't know where I got the idea, but like,
Oh, it's a
it came-
projector?
A projector shooting over me while we're yeah.
Oh, that's a good trick.
And Jay created like all the. He created the visuals for that like the night before or something crazy like that.
Wait, is that you on the other side too?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I was like-
it's like reminiscing of it.
Got
You
it,
know
got
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
Like present day me, and then like.
At first, I thought it was like just like a
double?
an actor, yeah. And then I was like, no, wait a minute, that's you.
No, that was me.
He's like, let's take it again. You're all making out.
pretty much. I was like, okay, she's hot. Let's do this. Maddie, you knew I liked it. She knows I liked it.
It's a cool video.
Yeah.
It was really funny. There's some funny moments in it. Like this moment right here. Oh, that was hilarious. Just because we're just acting, right? And so he's taking the video.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And she's like, I'm just joking. I'm talking to him. Like, how'd I get so lucky to get a girl like you? And she's like, you gave me enough money, daddy. And I don't know. We were just like dying. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah. It was fucking cool, dude.
Do you ever check out any of the other songs?
No.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Hey, like you like.
No,
that's what
I
everyone
have.
likes.
No, I have, but nothing touched me
It
as
said
much
you
as
had
this.
That's fair.
like 9,897 like plays.
Yeah.
His is he's the 897.
I really appreciate that. Don't stop. No. I need those fractions of a penny, man. Every fraction of a penny counts now.
Is that what it is? It's a fraction of a penny?
I'm pretty sure it's like a fraction of a penny. I don't think you get more.
That's how they are with Spotify. No, podcast ads.
Really?
No, but they're like a penny and a half.
Like a half a penny.
Damn,
yeah.
I don't know if something changed, but
They were like a half a penny before, and then I just
Damn.
kept on like denying them, and then they're like, oh, okay, this motherfucker. So they gave me half a penny more, and I'm still denying them.
I'm like, we'll
So-
do it when
Good
they
for
give us
you.
a penny.
Yeah.
yeah, give me a full fucking penny.
No, well, it's right now it's a penny and a half, so
Got you.
it's
Oh.
not even a half. It's like a penny 0.4.
That's crazy.
How do
Yeah.
they even pay
It's
you
crazy,
like
yeah.
half a penny?
Yeah, I don't know. But I did the
Yeah, what's
breakdown.
the breakdown on that?
I did the breakdown. I would have to get like 2,000 plays an episode to get like $2.
I'm just wondering what they're getting every time they give you a penny. That's the breakdown I want to see, which I doubt they'd want us to see.
Well, because they have, so it's the podcast hosting service that I use is Buzzsprout. So people are paying them. People are paying them to
Put their ads.
put their ads.
Okay.
So they're making the money,
They're making the money.
and we're making half a penny.
Got you. Yeah, you're like,
Right.
all right.
Yeah, but some of these are just like, they don't really fit. I guess
feel
what I
that.
do.
I,
No?
Yeah, I feel like it's an interesting time because like some people I feel like have a definite like doomsday feeling over it. Like there's just like the way the market is set up, the way like we have access. I mean, for me, I just like, no, that's an excuse. Like I one of my mottos is like, or mantras is like, oh shit, that tequila just hit me.
Or the motalada.
Or the motalada. I was like, I do have one. Shit.
This is why you're supposed to sip it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, don't take a shot and then sip the other one, but like kind of like half. I mean, I took it down like 3 sips,
But you're good.
Okay, the motto there is like, we're not victims, we're creators. You know what I mean? Like
right.
That's like one of my main mottos. Like, no matter the circumstance, no matter where you're at in life, like it really is. I mean, it's like they say, this life is what you make it, and it really is. Like, I mean, you can get a shit sandwich, but like it's all on you what you do with that shit sandwich, essentially. Right. And so when I look at the way it's all set up nowadays, it really is just on the individual and how bad you really want it. Like there are so many people out there who you're like, why is this like big right now? And you're like, because this person pushed it and they did everything they could to get there. I mean, there are all kinds of different stories. Like you can be Claro, right? And like your parents happen to just have the biggest publishing company, something along those lines. I don't know if that's exactly how she made it, but you have enough people there to make it happen. But she did put in the work to sing and make the lyrics and do everything it took to get up to that ledge and make it happen. So like for me, in today's world, there's no excuse. Like you have the capabilities of distributing your music yourself for a pretty affordable price, or your podcast or whatever it is, at all platforms. And it's not rocket science. Like you probably get AI to help you with it at this point. But I just feel like there's no doom. It's just like all opportunity now. You know what I mean? Like if you really wanted to, you can push even crappy content and pay a shit ton in ads and marketing to push it out there, and it will be seen by 1 million people or whatever. They might not like it, but it'll reach it. You know what I mean? Like if you really wanted to.
Is that fair though? Like how fair is that? Or am I just being cynical about it?
You're not being cynical about it.
Say there's this one particular artist that's like very good, but nobody knows who he is because he doesn't have marketing dollars. He doesn't have people to help him, through that, right? But on the other hand, there's a really crappy artist, but with lots of money that has money to put into that marketing. Like, where's the balance in that? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I totally get what you're trying to say. I think that was like at the beginning of Facebook when they did the Facebook marketing, right? Where everyone was like, this is bullshit. You're like, so some guy could pay for us to see all this shit while the good content's like kind of getting swept under the rug.
Right.
Totally get it in one aspect. But the other aspect of it, for me at least, because I mean, I don't want to say I came from nothing, like my family did the best they could, and there's some really good foundation in there along all the craziness that was my upbringing. But like where I come from, you know what I mean? Like it's really like, I mean, I was like looking at it as a kid as like, man, I don't want to be another statistic, like they're saying most of us aren't going to graduate high school. Most of us aren't even going to make it till we're 21. You know what I mean? So like I was looking at life in that perspective. And to make it out of that perspective, I'm like, well, shit, man, it really is. If you really want it, I mean, sometimes you got to get a little lucky. But, like, if you really want it, you're going to just keep doing it. You know what I mean? If someone asks me how long I've been doing music, it's for sure, like, at least, like, 15 to 17 years of just doing music, And how many times have someone, I mean, it's like you said, you got to suck first, right? I was horrible, bro. They compared me to Billy Corgan when I first started singing. They're like, oh, you sound like the guy from Smashing Pumpkins, And at the time, I didn't even want to sing. I just wanted to be John Paul Jones. I just want to, like, play some rhythm, keep the band together, be out of the spotlight. And they're like, hey, you should sing. I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, no, really, you should sing. And, I mean, so, it's like, I don't know. I made it happen. I'm here now. Like, I feel like I got really lucky to get good times on the radio without really trying super hard. But at the same time, I tried for 17 years of just loving this shit and like really putting in every effort and every penny I could the reality of it is like, yeah, someone who's putting all that money into marketing, maybe they have a shit ton of money and they could waste it, but also maybe I shouldn't buy an ounce of weed, and maybe I should put that money, or maybe I shouldn't go out with the boys and drinking this week, and maybe I should utilize that money for what I really love, because there's an opportunity on the table and it's on no one else but myself to take that opportunity,
Yeah.
Because like you don't get to choose where or how you're born, It's part of the game, right?
Yeah, I think with something like music, or I think just anything creative, to reach a certain point to where you're like, yeah, like if I can like made it, because the word made it, or the phrase like, oh, that music or that musician made it, that artist made it, is very subjective. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very subjective. Like one person's point of view of making it may be different than somebody else's, right?
It's true.
But there's a certain point to where you have to be obsessed with what you want. And I think that's with anything in life, not just something creative. In athletics, like if you want to reach a certain professional point, in your life, you have to be obsessed with it. You have to work day in, day out. Think about it 24/7, thinking about what you want. Right? I don't know, dude. It's wild, because there's just something in our brains that we can just turn on, and you're obsessed about that one. Like me, I'm obsessive, dude.
Yeah.
I get obsessed about something. Well, once I like, not that I'm, and this is an excuse, but there's some things that I want to do in life, but I refute them because I know if I went all in and I became obsessed about it, that's all I'm going to think about.
Yeah.
When I have other like fucking half-ass projects still on the table, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's my excuse.
I feel that. I mean, it's definitely easy, right, to get caught up in it all.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I have ADHD, so like I want to do everything, everything passionately, but there's literally just no space or time for all that. I'm wondering if that's the kind of person, or if is it more of like there are multiple things that interest you, but like you really adamant about like finishing these first before you get started on the next thing.
I mean, I am, but like with music, I love music. I like writing music. I may not be good.
I didn't know you write music, by the way. That's cool.
I do. I've been writing for a very long time. Like I have notebooks of just lyrics. I know 4 chords on the guitar.
Okay.
And most of my lyrics are like with those 4 chords.
Yeah.
Right? Which I'm like, okay, like whatever. But I feel like, right, Amber, when I first got the acoustic guitar, I never put it down. Like I was just trying to learn new chords, writing my stuff. And I don't know, at some point I was like, okay, I need to like, I need to put this down and do something else. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like I get too wrapped up.
What's an example of something that you're like, absolutely, like this is, I think about this all the time, every day. Like what's something you're passionately obsessed about?
Right now?
Yeah, like right now.
Probably getting in shape.
Okay.
That's all I could think about.
Okay.
Is when can I go to the gym?
Okay.
Right now, that's where my obsession is podcasting and going to the gym.
Fuck yeah. Those are good. Have you read the book by any chance, Power of the Habit?
Who is it by?
I forget, but I'll say this much. I read
Power
that
of the
book,
Habit.
and it was life-changing for me.
Can you pull it up?
I was trying to quit cigarettes at the time, but I was extremely addicted to cigarettes. Like, I've been smoking for a very long time. So, yeah, that's the book. And I just, like, for the life of me, couldn't quit. So I read this book. It's very scientific. But, man, that shit changed my life. And, like, based on what you're telling me, you're trying to, like, I mean, everything in our life is based on a habit, essentially. And what they get into, or one of the biggest takeaways I took from it, is like keystone habits, right? And so what that is like, because like I used to be like, dude, I used to weigh like 250 at one point, you know, and I was like really out of shape. And I hated running at that point. I was like, fuck running. I loved hiking, but still, I was like, fuck running. I couldn't find an exercise that I liked really. And then I fell in love with Muay Thai. And I was like, yo, this is actually cool. Like, this is mad cardio, but for some reason, I'm focusing on the technique more. So for me, it just really infatuated me. And I was able to dive in and double down. And what I realized is that it forms such a huge keystone habit, because what that is like a habit that forms other healthy habits. Because I realized that I was smoking a lot, you know. I wasn't drinking water as much. I wasn't sleeping as much. And once I started doing Muay Thai consistently, I was like, holy shit, like it really kills me when I'm not hydrated. So I started drinking more water consistently. I was like, fuck, like I really need to recover because I'm feeling this in a couple days. So I started making sure I went to sleep on time, as well as just being physically exhausted to be like, I'm going to go to sleep on time. I'm beat after Muay Thai, you know? And then, so there's the smoking, there's the water, there's sleeping. And then it was like, you know what? Like, if I just eat better, like, it's really going to help me take that next step forward in my athleticism and recovery for this. And so it just became this keystone habit, you know? As long as I kept doing that, like, all these other habits were being reinforced. And so they say it's like when you don't go to the gym, when you don't go to work out, you're reinforcing the habit of not going to the gym. And it's really all about just going one way or the other. You know what I mean? So it's like the more you do it, the better, the stronger the habit of going is. The less you go, the stronger the habit of not going is. But I only say that because I'm very obsessive as well about a lot of things. And that's one of the things I really took away from that was like, okay.
Keystone habit.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And I get that too, because when, like, to go to the gym, I have to, like, I have to eat better, right? Because I feel if I eat like shit, I'm going to feel like shit. I'm going to feel like shit at the gym. If I don't drink enough water, I'm going to be dehydrated and I'm not going to sweat as much. I'm working on the sleep thing right now.
That's a tough one. Especially with phones and shit, you just like scrolling.
It's super hard, dude. Honestly, like I sometimes I don't know. I gotta think of something. There's probably a like power habit thing, right? With
don't
phone.
get too stuck on melatonin.
It's hard. Melatonin?
Yeah, I fuck with that sometimes, but it's not the best.
It like drugs me, dude. I feel like I just woke up from a heroin nap. If I have,
I've heard people say something like that, like they wake up groggy.
Yeah, I'm like super groggy. A cloudy head is just, it's wild.
I don't get that, but I've heard people who get that and they're like, I can't fuck with that. And like the other day, I took some because I had to wake up early for a hike, and someone called me at like 10:30, and somehow I don't even recall like picking up the phone. I just recall like being like really pretty much like 3/4 of the way asleep. I'm like, hello? Like, that shit does knock me out for sure.
Did you, I'm sorry, I'm over here like thinking, because I'm thinking of what you guys are saying, and I'm the complete opposite, right? Like I can't obsess over anything, because I do something and then I do it and then it's done. Like, and that's with anything. Like I've never been like, oh, I need alcohol, I need food, I need.
You lack passion. I think that's what it is.
maybe.
It's a Scorpio sign.
I know, like, everything's boring. No, but you know, like if I need to quit something, I literally just, all right, I'm done with it, and I'm done. You know, but I'm also reflecting on the fact that when I was a kid, and I've told Gil this before, it's like my parents, really let like if I said, oh, I want to learn piano, because that was one of my things, right? I want to learn piano. So my dad went out, bought the best piano that, you know, he could afford, bought me lessons, took me every Saturday, everything. I went for 6 months max, and I was like, all right, I'm done. And then my mom would say, no, let her commit to it. Let her finish it. And I'd be like, no, if she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't have to do it. And then I'd quit. And then a month later, I was, hey, I want to play the drums. I promise I'm going to do it this time. And
I'm
then
gonna
here
commit
goes
this time.
Yeah, Christmas came. My dad
This
bought
is
me a
it.
drum set, set it up, everything. A year max. It's not for me. The clarinet, like I tried to go through so many things, right? And again, I'm not putting anything on my parents. But
Like
I
it's their
wish
fault.
it's their fault. No, I wish that I would have been forced to have finished something because now as an adult, I can't finish anything.
But I think it also comes out of what you really want to do, because this obsession, like, it's not like when I get super obsessed with something, it's not like I want to do it.
Yeah.
I think there has to be some want into that. Maybe you just really didn't want to play keyboard,
Yeah.
or you didn't want to
Yeah.
play the drums.
It might, but I mean, look at all the creative stuff I've done in my life, and they're fun for 6 months max, and then
Right.
like,
Maybe just music wasn't your thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe
Wasn't
you're
your main
creative.
call, Yeah.
Yeah, you're creative somewhere else, not music,
yeah, but I
right?
don't know.
Well, it is true though. People are different like that. We all have different callings, right? And sometimes maybe you're just one of those people who was able to explore it all and be like, hey, I really want to check out what I like, and it didn't like click where you're like, oh, I'm gonna go full on with this, because I know since I was a child, like that was like a question I remember. My older cousin was like, what do you want to be when you're older? And this is in the 90s. I'm like listening to a lot of Biggie and Tupac and Linkin Park and Eminem and stuff like that, and Nirvana. And I'm like, I want to be a rapper. And she's like, what, a rapper? Your life hasn't been hard enough to be a rapper. What are you talking about? But since then, I was like, music is my thing. And it's funny because, I mean, excuse me, sorry. I've been smoking a lot of cigarettes lately. It's a poor habit. But ever since I was a kid, I knew like music was it. I even remember as a kid being like, that's scary though, performing in front of all those people. Maybe I just want to be like a producer or something, And somehow I stumbled into it because everything in my life was like, no, you're not doing music. Like my mom was like, no, you're not going to art school. You're not doing anything like that. Like you're going to go to school. Since I was a kid, I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. You know what I mean? So that was the plan. It was like, no, you're going to go to school to become a lawyer. That's it. Like this music stuff. Yeah, you're like, but no, that's not it for you.
Yeah.
Even though some of my teachers, like, he needs to be in a creative school. Like, he's not here. Like, he's only here when we're doing some creative ass shit. Otherwise, like, I don't know where your son is. Like, he's here, but he's not here. And so, I don't know, man. It was definitely one of those things that, like, since it was just a calling. And I remember there was a point I had scholarships to schools. I decided not to go. I go to community college, and I'm like, I guess I'll pursue the law thing again. And I'm like right there at this political science class. And I'm like staring at this giant fucking fat book of just like old laws and shit. And I'm like, nah, fuck this, dude. I want to do music. Like, what am I doing? Like, this is like, I can't do music halftime and do this law shit. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to do music. That's it. And we talked about like different levels of like making it, what that means for some people. I mean, for me, just being on the radio, just being signed to even a small label, and just being able to touch other people with my art, period, for me, it was like, oh, I made it. Like, because sometimes it's really weird. It's still really weird for me. Sometimes I have like bandmates be like, dude, my dad knows your song from the radio. And I'm like, yo, what? Or, someone's like, their significant others listening to the EP that hasn't been released, and they're like, dude, they're like dying for this shit to come out, or just like stuff like that really just makes my day, because I'm like, yo, what? Like, sometimes I cringe at my own music, because to me this is old music now. I'm like, no, I got some really hot shit coming out soon. So yeah, I don't know, like, it's definitely like that was my obsession. It was like not even a want. It was like, no, I need to do this. Like, I don't know why, but this is what I have. That's why there's like 1,600 recordings on my phone, because like I just need to do it. Like, it's like, I'm not Kobe, but like that's all he needed to do was like, he just obsessed. It's like you said, we obsess about it, and it's not. And I mean, he sucked at one point.
I mean, I think
I suck at one point for sure. I
think
probably do.
that's what you have to do. You have to just be at that level to where you have to obsess over it.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way.
Yeah. Same.
Is there another way to do what you want to reach that goal to what you want? I mean, there is, right? But are you? You may reach it faster, you may not. I'm like, I don't know. What's the alternative? What's the alternative before obsessing?
Right. I saw that.
Whoa.
What happened?
The light turned off.
That was crazy.
Boy.
Maybe.
I know some haunted shit. I'm working on a scary movie right now. Actually.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's called Bruja.
Yeah.
Bring some
Dope
of
shit.
that.
I shouldn't
Did you
talk
bring
about
that?
it.
What the hell do you have in that backpack, dude?
Oh no! In the backpack is some marijuana, probably some poetry books because I went hiking and sometimes you just never know. You're like, are we gonna chill up here for a while? It was a 10-mile hike, so I was like, should be ready for anything.
10 miles?
Yeah, 10 miles. Yeah, that shit was. My legs feel it right now. That was yesterday.
That was yesterday?
Yeah, that was holy shit.
Where at?
Echo Mountain in Altadena.
Oh, okay. I don't know where that's at.
That's like next to Pasadena. The mountains behind Pasadena.
10 miles.
10 miles round, but 2,300 feet of elevation. That shit was, whew. I don't know how we did. We just did, but I remember the walk down was the hardest part. I was like, okay, my body hurts, and I'm like counting the miles. I'm like, we're at 6 miles. That means we got 4 miles left. Like, can we go? And then 7 miles. Like, all right, 3 miles to go. You're like, I fucking just want to be down there right now.
Was it this hike? Was it the first time you doing that trail, or like another time?
So I've done that trail a lot, and just the first 5-mile version of it, which is 2.5 miles up, 2.5 miles back down.
And then you went back down.
It's pretty brutal. Not pretty brutal. It's like, I would say it's like a little above advanced, but like it's pretty doable. It's satisfying. But I'd never done the additional 2.5 miles up, which was just like the last 2 miles, I think was like 1,500 feet of elevation.
I feel like it's easier, right? Like it's easier if you've done it like once, and then the second time around doing a hike like for the second or third time, like, okay, you're like, this hill's gonna suck, but after like it goes down for a while, or like it's good flat level, like I'll be okay. Like, just preparing yourself. I feel like the first time you go on a hike, it's like the most brutal as it can be.
For sure. You know, it's funny you say that. There's this one hike I do a lot. I hike a lot. Like, if I can, I'll hike once or twice a week for sure. And there's this hike at Griffith Park. It goes all the way up. Like, if you ever see the observatory and down while you're passing through Hollywood, or just in the distance, even on the 10 freeway sometimes, there's this little hill like right behind it. And we do that hike, and like I remember the first 2-3 times I did that hike, I was like, dude, there's some really steep parts where I'm like, this is brutal. Like, I'm soaking wet in sweat. Like, this is a workout. And I would say like the last couple times I've done it, I was kind of surprised. Like, oh, I kind of like went through this like butter. Like, there's those hard parts, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to what you're saying, pretty much, yeah. I'd say that's accurate.
It's that training. Like when you're training for something gets easier. Like just the other day, I was telling Amber about like I'm pulling more on like on the row machine. Like I'm doing. I've doubled the weights in like a month.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah. Like at first, I was weak as shit because I didn't work out. I changed my habits of eating for a month, and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm capable to go into the gym.
Yeah.
And that was the second month in, and now I think I'm in like my second and a half, third month in now, and I'm like pulling double weight. I'm like, holy shit. And now I have like my endurance is getting a lot better.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it sucks, but like, I guess the lazy part of me is saying like, fuck, I have to up it each time. Like my endurance is getting better. So now I have to put more weight. I have to run longer now. I have to put up the speed on the treadmill. Like I have to put a different mode, like on the elevation going up or down. And I don't know, that's the lazy part. I'm just like, fuck, like I have to work like extra hard now.
Yeah.
Because my endurance is getting a little bit better. That sucks.
It does a little, but you know what? I'll say this, and we can get deep into this depending how you want to go about it. But there is something about embracing the pain and looking forward to that pain eventually.
Oh, yeah.
It's like psyching your mind out. Because like with Muay Thai, like, I don't know, man. There's like at no point. I mean, it's not true. Like when you're really consistent for like 2 months, like that's when you start feeling like, oh, this ain't that bad. But like, dude, you take a week or 2 off, you feel it. Like you got to go back to like the first exercise you do, the first 3 rounds. Every round is 3 minutes, and then a 30-second break in between. 3 minutes of straight jump rope, 3 times with 30 seconds in between every time. Dude, there are times where you're like, damn, like, fuck, I've been doing this for like 2 years. This shit is burning. Like, mentally, I'm like fighting this right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, it wasn't until I started being like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I would like lie to myself and be like, I like this pain. No, I'm looking for that burn. I want my legs to feel heavy. I want my lungs to feel like I can barely breathe. And eventually, I started feeling grateful for those feelings. As weird as that sounds, I'm just like, wow, I'm here right now. Like I could actually be, I've seen some people go with bad lung issues after a while. I was like, you know, it feels really good to like be able to have like this moment of like, I can't breathe and I can breathe again. Like, I don't know if that's weird.
No, I understand that. I think
it's embracing the suffering. And I'll say this, like there are 2 things that really solidified that for me. Like there's one, I don't know if you've gotten into fasting ever, but there's this old saying, I don't know if it's a Buddhist saying or where it's from right now. I can't recall. You could probably look it up maybe. But it's something about like if the man can control how and what he eats, he can control anything, right? Which to me makes sense. Logically, you're like, yeah, that's your biggest instinct is to survive is to eat, right? And that's what keeps everything going for you. So if you can fight that, then you can really control a lot mentally. And what solidified that for me is I did like this vision quest where it was like 4 days recently, just a couple months ago. 4 days, no food, no water, no human contact, just a 9-foot perimeter in nature, like by yourself. 4 days, no food or water. 88 hours, no food or water.
Whoa.
Wow. And like there was a lot of suffering in there, but there was like in a way, like I look back, I'm like, wow, that was like a really good suffering because like like I put myself through that, but like there's a boost you come out with after surviving that where you're like, damn, I chose that. Like I fought every instinct I had and fought every like moment of like there are moments where you're like, man, I'm thirsty. I can barely sleep now. Like shit, should I just sneak down there? Like at the
How many hours?
88 hours.
That's a lot.
You did this?
That's
Yeah.
more than 3 days, isn't it?
4 days.
That's 4 days.
Yeah, I'm already halfway over the point of like, you know, let's say 7 days no water to die. Like I'm already past that point, and you do hallucinate.
And what do you
have
do?
visions, you know, but
What do you do to like not think of food? Because I feel like, yeah, your body needs water, right? Your body needs
Yeah.
food and all that, but sometimes it gets very mental of
For
like
sure.
eating, right? Because we can be really, really busy and like during the day, and you're just like on the go, and then you're like, oh my God, I haven't ate, and you didn't once think of eating,
oh, for sure you
but then
do.
you're like doing nothing, and you're just like, what the fuck are we gonna eat? And you're just eating to eat, right? So
Yeah,
what was
yeah.
your mindset going through that? Like, how did you channel not thinking about eating?
So definitely no way of avoiding that, right? Like that's gonna come up like naturally, by like your body's gonna be like, all right, bro, we're hungry, we're thirsty, what is going on? But there are a few things that really go into that, like the medicine man who was running that entire thing gave me some really good advice going into it, and he's just like, look, like stay in your heart, you know. He's like, when you're in your head, that's where all these issues arise. Like you're gonna do something really hard, but if you stay in your heart, you'll be all right. If you go in your head, that's where like problems arise, you know. So I was like, okay, that's true. And I came up with a saying myself while being up there, you know, stay in your heart and your mind will follow. So that really helped. There's another thing where they're like, if you know anyone that you love or is close to you, contact them and ask them like, hey, eat these foods for me and drink water for me. And so honestly, as weird as it sounds, when I'm up there, because like they say the whole point of it, you can't bring a book, you can't have technology, there's no fires, there's no tent. It's just like a sleeping bag and change of clothes if you can carry it, and you can bring an instrument because that's considered a form of prayer. But you're just there, like just doing your best to just be in the moment. There are definitely moments where you're like, fuck, I'm hungry. And then I would just be like, it's cool, they're eating watermelon for me right now. And I don't know why that trick for me really helped. I was like, all right, or I'd burn some sage or burn some incense, and like the smell would help me, or I'd play some music. that really helped me push through a little bit more. And there was definitely moments like by the third day where I'm like, damn, I feel like really good right now. Like for not eating or drinking any water, like this moment at least, I feel way better than I feel like I should be feeling right now. So I don't know, like I heard that, you know, you practice for it too. Like you go 24 hours fast, without water. If you can, you try to do 48 hours. So by the time you're up there, you know, you're doing the vision quest, like the first 2 days were kind of cake. You know, it wasn't until that second night where I was like, damn, okay, I feel thirsty. Like, no, I'm really thirsty right now. And, you know, like, I didn't even realize till like the week after that I had a shit ton of visions, you know, because like you're either praying, you're meditating. First 2 days, like I'll stretch it out. I'll stretch in the morning. I have a routine that just totally diminished. And then you just take a lot of naps because it's just you and nature, and you only have the first half to be comfortable until the sun is just beating down on you for 8 hours. And you're like, there's this one sliver of shade behind this tree where all the rocks are and all the ants are. And it's just like, there's nothing comfortable about this experience, you know, other than knowing that you're going to suffer. Like, you know for a fact that's something you're signing up for.
Wow.
88 hours.
88 hours, yeah.
Fasting is so, it's not unhuman, but it's just so out of our like biology.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in our brains and our I've been listening to this book called Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, and it talks about like can we pull that up? It talks about the history of humankind, dude. And recently, like the chapter today is talking about how the early humans and our biology with food, like the reason why we want to binge on food,
starvation,
is because there's something in our DNA that says something with high carbs. Like when our ancestors found like a tree with like berries or nuts, we wanted to consume those sugars and those carbs because we don't know when we're gonna get it again. So I think over millions of years that got built into our DNA.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fasting thing just like totally like what our ancestors, to them it was just like normal life. Like fasting was not even a fucking thing.
Yeah, because
you know
most
what I mean?
times you might, exactly. You know, I usually, when I first got into all this, like years and years ago, I would think of like a lion, you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, those motherfuckers fast. And it's usually not by choice, you know what I mean? Like, but that's also why they eat a shit ton of red meat. It stays in you for a couple days, you know, but also they're like eating like live red meat with like adrenaline pumping through the blood that they're eating. Like this is why they look all roided up. I assumed at least, like this is not scientifically backed. This is just me like looking at something and be like, huh, I see these motherfuckers eat like this. I feel shredded. And I'm like, maybe this is why. And yeah, I started thinking about that, and it's like there's this really good spiritual leader from Africa. I forget his name. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to butcher it right now. But he was talking about how like when he moved to the United States, like way back when, he's from Africa, so he's used to having 1 meal a day, and it tripped him out that people could eat 3 meals here. You know what I mean? Like because like not everyone eats like that. You know what I mean? Like that's just here, really. And they felt weird because usually they just had 1 meal and they're good. And it got to the point where they're like, okay, so we're trying to force ourselves to have like 2 meals, but it still feels excessive, you know? Wow. And it's like, so like, I want to say like, yeah, you're right. Like fasting kind of is just a part of life in some places and in nature, especially where it's like, just like feast or famine, which would make sense. That feasting part is like, oh shit, carbs, like, yeah. But having that conversation right now is kind of interesting because it all does tie back into like habits in a way. I don't know. I'm so stupid obsessed about habits. I'm like, oh, it's a human habit we formed over time.
No, it is because our ancestors were doing it over fucking millennia, right? They found food high in sugar, high in carbohydrates, and they ate it because they don't know when they're going to get it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that book it's interesting, dude. Like I can't, like we were listening
Sapien, where'd it go?
Sapiens. Amber and I were listening to that last night. No, not last night. Was it yesterday morning, Amber?
Yesterday morning.
And I kept on pausing it and like stopping.
Oh, no, it was this morning.
Was it?
This morning, yeah.
Yeah, so I kept on pausing it and giving these like scenarios to her, and she was like, "Just fucking listen to the book."
He was like, "Imagine this is why we're like," and I'm like,
Another thing.
Let me listen to the
I got
book.
something for that.
Another thing is imagined realities.
Oh, that's what you're talking
I
about.
love imagining realities.
Imagined realities, because that triggered me. I was like, imagine reality. Like, and he goes on to say that government is an imagined reality. Currency, not currency, but not the word currency, but like the Federal Reserve, that's an imagined reality. Social constructs are imagined realities. And then I also thought, I was like, I have a good premise for a good movie too, about or a Black Mirror episode about
I like that.
a person being, somehow getting taken to a, other dimension to where they're the only person that can imagine these different realities, and everybody else can't. They don't know. They don't have imagination.
God, the world would be so dull.
Would it be dull, or
If
would it
everyone
be
was just like,
only?
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and to me, the concept is like all the things that you can imagine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Imagine you can't do that. You can't even.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what a crazy world. And then you're the only person there, which means you have to fight this whole society of people who's like, the fuck you talking about? It's only this way. And you're like, no, think out. Like, oh, that's like.
But we also
like
said we also said that it could also be a pro that you think like that, because you'd be only living in the now, right? So you'd only be fixated on what's happening
on what's
now,
tangible.
versus us always thinking like, I'm gonna save money because in the future I want to buy a home. I'm gonna be healthy because I want to live a longer life, right? Versus when you can't imagine those realities, it's like you're just subjected to living now,
Now,
living
and
for not tomorrow, but
what's
for right now.
and what's tangible too.
Yeah,
Like whatever. What do they say? Pink Floyd has a really good lyric in Dark Side of the Moon, where like everything that you see and touch is what your life will ever be. Or something. I fucked it up, but
I can't recall it right now.
that's a Dark Side of the Moon lyric, and that's like whatever you can see in your world in this space, and whatever you can touch in your world in your space is all you believe in. If you can't touch it and if you can't see it, then it's non-existent. That's where imagination lies. Imagination lies in things that we can't see and things that we can't feel.
Yeah. See, and when you
Feel.
bring this, when you bring this up, it makes me like,
Is it good or is it bad?
it's not that
we don't know, right?
I feel like, man, it's interesting. It'd be interesting because, like, if you really think about it, if you like really imagine
Yeah.
what a world of non-imagination would be like, that means we'd all be living like dogs still.
You think so?
Yeah, because think about, no one would invent the wheel, no one would invent fire,
Right.
No one. It would just be like, we'd pretty much just be like all the other primitive animals, where it's like just a need basis. Like, I need sex,
True.
I need food, I need sleep. Repeat.
Yeah.
And that's the basis of what he talks about, is that's what shot us, that's what catapulted us into the
Imagination,
future,
yeah.
was imagination and language. Without those two things, we would have been dogs.
It's true. Also, this is so random.
But dogs maybe have imaginations. I don't know.
You know, maybe.
We don't know.
Just who knows the level or the extent that their imagination
Right.
like reaches. Oh, that's good, man. That's a really good one to think about. Because, like, you think about the world, and in general, there has to be some type of an imagination going on in other creatures, considering, like, there's evidence of other creatures doing psychedelics. Like, there's I forget what plant it is, but jaguars apparently eat, like, a special plant or root, and they get fucking high.
Can you look that up? I gotta see this.
Dolphins, same thing. They eat pufferfish, so they suck it, and they, like, shock pufferfish and, like, take the toxins. It's funny. There's videos of them passing a pufferfish around like a joint, and you can see their eyes are fucking lit, dude. It's hilarious. They're like, oh, these motherfuckers are getting lit too. I think the reason why, like in Nemo, Finding Nemo, the turtle, why he's like, ha, what's up, dude, is because they're making fun of the fact that turtles are usually high from eating jellyfish because their toxins don't kill them, but they do get them high. Same with the pufferfish. It don't kill the dolphins, but it gets them high.
Sneaky little devil.
Yeah,
Disney.
Yeah, fucking guys. We see
Oh yeah, there
you.
you go. Jaguars.
Fucking Yage.
Yage or yak.
What is it, like a root or
Yage?
something?
Jaguars are the largest cats in the Americas, roaming everywhere from southern Arizona to the warmer pockets of South America. While they usually take their role as the apex predator seriously and stalk around and confidently as a cunning mass of muscles, teeth, and claws, they also like to party. From time to time, jaguars will munch on the leaves of the Yagi vine. What is it? Banistera panzensis capi? For all of you botanists out there, the vine grows abundantly in the Amazon rainforest and takes jaguars from intimidating to delightfully intoxicated. Perhaps you've seen this clip of a jaguar act like a big, tipsy, goofy kitten. Can you click on that link? I got to see this. Oh, it's the proprietary component in ayahuasca. So these guys are tripping on DMT.
These fools are having full on, like, they're like, thank you, God. I needed that message. I'm going to go say sorry to my wife. No.
My jaguar wife.
These fools are tripping on DMT.
Hey, you know.
What? Jaguar tastes the hallucinogenic effects of Yage.
Just as
Yage?
cats eat grass, large cats like jaguars eat leaves. When regurgitated, they cleanse their digestive system.
Oh.
Yeah, right. That motherfucker's like, I'm going to get lit. Like, I need some answers. I'm having a mental crisis. Hold on.
But, like catnip, some plants induce other effects. Yaji is one of the commonest rainforest vines.
Yeah, you were close.
It seems to cause playful, kittenish behavior. But could something deeper be happening?
That fool looks like he's tripping. Mom?
Oh, he does, dude. Look at that.
Oh,
The vines
shit.
are used by
his
forest
eyeball.
people in
He's
their
lit.
hallucinogenic rituals.
That
They
fucking
take
should've
to
never ate
enhance
that
their
kid.
senses
Should've
and
never ate
gain
that
the
kid. I'm
jaguar's
sorry.
hunting power.
Oh, my God.
He is tripping out, bro.
They believe the jaguar also takes Yaji to heighten its senses when it hunts.
I believe it.
Like so much of weird nature, there is still so much to know.
You also check out the dolphin one, too. That's real.
Go back to the
Getting lit.
go back to the report on the other tab. Humans have also been known to enjoy Banisteriopsis capi, cocktail noun, and again, the vine is the primary component in ayahuasca, a psychedelic spiritual aid used by both indigenous Amazon people and the slew of celebrities. Whoa.
So, yeah, we learned something today. Jaguars, they get fucking lit.
Yeah, look at
These lemurs.
bighorn sheep and other examples. I mean,
So they have an imagination, I'm sure. If
Right.
they're getting lit like that. Some kind of, maybe an inkling. I would like to think so, at least.
that also in some psychedelic lore. Have you heard any of Terrence McKenna stuff?
No, what is that?
So Terrence McKenna is a botanist, and he came up with this theory. Not really a theory, but
Stone
like
ape theory?
yeah.
I came up with the whole movie based on that shit. I swear to God.
You did?
Yeah, the movie's called Restart. I just shouldn't speak about it because I should like really get some shit put out there first. But I like to write like in threes, so like, it's a 3-parter.
Okay.
But yeah, it was all based on like this hippie group of people tripping on mushrooms at the redwoods. But like there's like someone who's like the chosen one or whatever, like pure enough where the trees communicate some shit to them through like the mycelium, right?
Mycelium?
Mycelium? Mycelium, right?
Yeah. The network
that connects all plants in the forest.
On the
and
bot,
shit, right?
yeah.
And he gets this message, and pretty much it just like jumpstarts this whole movie, just based on that stone, like
The stoned ape theory.
Stone ape theory, yeah.
So that's what they said that catapulted humans into imagination and thinking about all
Psychedelics.
these imagined realities was the psilocybe cubensis.
Yeah. I'll be
Magic
meeting
mushrooms.
her tomorrow. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I wouldn't fight or argue too hard about that, only because I feel like a lot of my greatest epiphanies have been through some form of psychedelic experience, especially with mushrooms. Like I feel like that's something you can't run from. You know what I mean? Like you can take certain concentrated psychedelics, but like there's a controlled feeling over it. Whereas like with mushrooms, I've always told people, I'm like, well, like the mushrooms are going to take you where you need to go. They're going to take you where they're going to take you. And you're just there for the ride, really.
Right. I know I've had like different experiences while on LSD and magic mushrooms, and it's not the same. Like they're two total different experiences.
Yeah.
Which I mean, of course, they're two different
Completely.
chemicals, but
Yeah.
something about mushrooms just feels like right. You know what I'm saying?
I do
Like
know what
my
you're saying.
ancestors did this, and I should be doing this.
I feel that.
It's
Yeah.
a calling. It's like the universe's calling card. Like they're giving me their business card, and I
Yeah.
just ate it, and I feel amazing.
You're receiving messages. You're downloading.
Downloading, yes.
It's funny because you said calling, right? And
Yeah.
that's literally what brought me to that fast, that vision quest. It was like all luck, stumbling into the right people to like find the right person who's like, oh, I'm really tied in with this tribe up north, like this Native American tribe that would like they do this healing process. I was like, okay. It's out there in Mount Shasta, and I've just always heard magical things about Mount Shasta. So I was just like, yo, I feel called. I have to do this. You know, like I need to do this. And throughout all of my experiences, that was by far one of the most healing and fulfilling moments, because there was definitely a psychedelic feel to it. You're getting pretty close to death in one sense, and you're like right there in the veil, you know. And I don't want to reveal too much because it was a very deep and personal experience for me at a spiritual level. And it was life changing. But there was like this moment where we're going up the hill, and the guy who's leading us up there, he's another healer, and he's like, if you see a door to the spirit realm, he's like, take it. Don't be afraid. You know, we're going to be doing stuff here to hold you down in this realm. But like, if you see it, take it. My first vision is this lady. I can never forget her. Like, I could see her, and it's crazy. There's more to this, of course, but like, she was this like chubby Mexican Aztec looking type of lady. You know, she had really round cheeks. She had black hair in a bun, tight bun. She had this pink psychedelic shirt on, like pink tie-dye shirt on. She was really round. She was chubby. She had these weird pink tights that stopped at her knee, which I was like, in my head, I was like, that's a weird choice of style, you know? And then she had black chanclas on. And I was like, and I remember I was like laying there. I'm sleeping, and then like I wake up, and this lady grabs my hand. She's like, come on, I'm gonna take you like to the spirit realm. And I'm like, and she pulls me up, and we start walking. I'm like, wait, I have a question for you, you know. And I asked her, and she's like, that's not really a question, is it? And then I wake up, and there's like a hummingbird right there. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck, you know? Like, and like I said, 4-day experience. At the end of the 4 days, like there was definitely a moment where like I died and was born again in the most powerful way for myself, where I was like, I had never felt that void so filled, you know what I mean? But the closest I've ever gotten to that ever was definitely a psychedelic, like one time on acid, like crazy night. Everyone leaves the party, but I'm still rolling on acid, and it's like 5 a.m, you know, and I'm like stuck by myself, and I'm like, oh shit. And I had like this little crisis, and I wrote down, and like that was like the day I was like, this is what I'm dedicating my life to. I was like, what am I doing? What am I running from? What am I feeling? You know, I was like, oh shit. This is what I'm feeling. You know what? I'm dedicating my life to this. Like, no matter what, bottom line, it's to loving and understanding. Like, that was like one of those trips, you know? And then on DMT was another one where it was just like, I realized like there's so much we all worry about, you know? It's like, when none of it matters. Like, nothing really has to make sense. Like I'm just holding on to a bunch of shit that, like, you know what I mean? Like, those are my personal experiences. But out of all of them, like, the whole starving to death thing was like by far the most like revealing, where you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah.
Aside from DMT, magic mushrooms, and LSD, the starving to death was
by far. Because like, here's the thing, is in all of those other experiences, I still had enough distractions. When the way I like to put it is, when you're up there on the hill, it's just you, God, if you believe in that, whatever form of that you believe in. Just you, God, and your demons. That's it. That's it. There's no other distraction. There's nothing that's gonna pull you out of that. It's just you, yourself, and that's it. Your beliefs, and it's like you can't run from it. And I went up there with like such a clear head. Like my whole life was situated for once in my life. Weirdly enough, I was like, wow, coming up here, there's zero worries. Like there's nothing weighing heavy on my mind. I think I'm pretty good. Like I'm just here to receive. And then shit kept popping up. And I was like, I dealt with that. Like, why is that coming up? Like, I'm good. I thought I was good, you know? And then by that 3rd day, like I said, I was like, I like had this moment of surrender and death. And I was like, and then like strength, like overcoming me, where I was like, no, fuck this. Like, I see it. I'm leaving this here. I'm bearing this shit here. Like, this part of me, like, this is like, I understand, but like, I can't carry this part of me anymore. And staying here, you know, and it was like one of those transformative moments where I was like, holy shit, like I have a physical thing tying me to that moment. I have like the emotional, mental, like guides of like staying in my heart, and just this whole transformative moment of like, yeah, like I earned all of that. Like every second of it was worth it, you know what I mean? Which is weird, because I would probably never, I was looking back, if I was looking like younger me, looking to the future, be like, the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, the fuck? Like, I need my 3 meals. What are you talking about? Like 4 days? Get the hell out of it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. If you're interested, let me know next year. Maybe I'll bring you up. We'll see.
That's in Mount Shasta. I heard good things about Mount Shasta. I was following this one guy that used to hold ayahuasca ceremonies.
Oh, wow.
At Mount Shasta.
I'll try that out. I still haven't done ayahuasca.
But you've tried DMT?
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably it may be different because the ayahuasca is a brew,
right?
Versus just smoking it right in a bong.
Well, I did the vape and the bowl. The bowl one was where I had that massive breakthrough, where I was just like in this room, nothing made sense. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? And this thing came to me. It's like, look, man, not everything has to make sense. Like, and I was like, oh yeah.
Is it true what they say about the DMT, about how it brings you into like a alternate reality and seeing like machine elves and all that crazy stuff?
Oh,
Was it like that for you?
I've done it a few times. There's one time I saw like this machine electronic looking fairy lady. It was just like, we're all one, baby. Like, she just kept repeating that, and she was just, everything was morphing, and I was like, holy fuck. You know, but the real life-changing one where I was just like, well, I don't really need to do this like anymore. Like, I'm good. I got the message was received. Like, thank you. It was intense. Like, I did this thing, like I had a pipe, I put weed in it, and I had like the actual DMT powder, and I like sprinkled a good amount on there. And they say like take it 3 hits, right? So you rip it, inhale, you exhale. Before you even take a breath of air, you just hit it again, you know? And so about the third time you're doing it, and like I remember my head started getting heavy. I'm like, oh man. And I like blow all the smoke out. I'm like, I gotta put this pipe down. I'm gonna drop it. You know, I'm like putting it down. I see all the smoke rising. My head's getting heavier and heavier. And I just lay back into the couch and I feel my head getting tighter. And I hear this noise like a tea kettle going, ee. You know, it's just getting higher and higher, the pitch, while the pressure in my head is getting tighter. And I'm like, holy shit, what's happening, you know? And then I just like blast off. I'm like this red beam of light coming from here. And I shoot through my forehead, through the fucking apartment. And I'm going through the sky. And there's like this crusty old like gate that's chained up on clouds. And I burst through this shit. I swear to God. This is all I can remember. Because like while I'm that red beam of light shooting through, like there's so much happening. So many emotions I can't even recall. Just being like, what the fuck? Like anger was coming up a lot for some reason. I burst through this fucking gate, right? And then I'm in this pitch black room. And there's like these two screens in front of me. And they're like this. And one is like a triangle and this one's a triangle and they flip. And it's a square and it's a square. And what I'm seeing inside of these screens are just people in different parts of the world. People I've never seen in parts of the world I've never been. And it keeps doing this. And I'm just like getting angry. I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at, you know? And then I just feel something to the left of me and I look and there's just like an ocean of Post-its, yellow Post-its. And there's some invisible entity like surfing through them playfully, like coming at me a million miles per hour. And while it's doing this, it's like just like injecting me with this message like, hey man, not everything has to make sense. Not everything has to make sense. Not everything has to make sense. Like a billion times, dude.
Were you hearing that, or
Yeah.
was it something like auditory, or is it just like
No, it was
that
like
message
this
was
person was like telepathically like just
okay.
saying this a million times to me as they're like flying at me. And I'm like, what? You know, and I'm like, shit, like that's true though. Like I don't have to make sense of this reality. I mean, there's a long story. My whole life I had my first existential crisis at 7, you know what I mean? Like, and I was like angry at my mom. I was like, why are we here? You know, and she's like, I was like, no. Why am I here? Like, why are you here? Why am I here? Why is anyone on this fucked up place? Like, I was like, what is going on? So like, since then I was like, why are we here? You know? And this entity is just like, dude, no, like none of that has to make sense. None of it needs to make sense. Like, and I don't know. I remember I opened my eyes and it looked like I was looking through like a galaxy like filter. Like everything looked like outer space in the room. There's like an electric clock on a neon looking clock on the wall that was like spinning backwards fast. And I was like, this is too much. And I closed my eyes again. And then I like gradually faded out of that. I remember hearing my friends like in the distance, like, his face is changing. You know, it sounded like they're really far away. You know what I mean? All this happens in like 15 minutes. Dude.
Oh my gosh,
But
dude.
all I know is like, yeah, like that was definitely one of those huge life changing experiences for me. But still, I mean, that was as close as it got to that vision quest, maybe, in terms of being like, wow, that really settled a lot for me internally. Where I was like, yeah, I'm holding on to some shit that I can't control. Like, I just need to let go. Like, I'm not supposed to figure it out, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be okay with that and just move on with my life and just be here in the present moment, which did help me get to some cool conclusions on why I think we're here. But, like, that's just a guess, you know?
I love how psychedelics can do that for a person. Like,
Yeah.
make them show them how insignificant we think things are, either ourselves or events or people or tangible things or imagined stuff. Like they show us the big picture of like, yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like that little thing that you worried about, like it doesn't matter. That person that you worried about or that person you think about, oh wow, life goes on.
It really does. And
Right?
yeah, it's all about what you make of it, right? I mean, I'd like to say life is breathtaking, beautiful, and equally as unforgiving, you know, and that's just the reality of it. Like, some of the most fucked up shit happens sometimes, and you're like, I mean, that's where I was as a kid at 7. I was like, why would God do this? You know, like, this is horrible what we're experiencing right now. I don't believe this shit, you know, and like you see it happen or you don't, but it happens, you know. Sometimes there's, what was it, just the other day somewhere in South Central, like a 4-year-old kid was shot, you know what I mean? That's fucking horrible, you know what I mean? Or there are people being trafficked, like God, like life can get really disgusting, you know, like sometimes you're the best person and you just got hit and you're crippled and you're like, why, you know? There might not be any rhyme or reason to it. That's just reality. Like sometimes you just, you know, you have a moment of just awe and you're like, this is beautiful. And I think it's just equally as unforgiving. And sometimes it's all about what you make with it. You know what I mean? It's just like that's the conclusion I came with all the psychedelics experiences. Like if you can sum up the things you're supposed to do here, like for sure, just bottom line, like I thought about this hard for like a good 20 years. Like what do I have to do that I have no choice over here? You know, I was like, okay, you have to be born, right? And I was like, can I like not breathe? I was like, no, that just doesn't count. I was like, okay, so you have to be born, you have to die. What else do you have to do that you have zero choice over? And it, for me, boiled down to experience. Like you can be born rich, you can be born poor, you can be born a crippled, you can be born and die 30 minutes later. Nothing else matters other than the fact that while you were here, that was your experience. And I think that's why that saying, like, it is what you make it, is so powerful, because it really, like, it's hard to hold that conclusion with how chaotic life is, you know? But to be able to ground yourself in the present and be like, well, what's my experience? Like, I like to look at it as like sometimes like this is a book someone's going to read one day, and every page in it is just one little piece of each chapter and that you're making yourself. Like today, life gave you a shit sandwich. Like, what are you going to say in your book? Like, well, he did the best he could with it, you know, and he made an amazing experience out of it. Or you could just be like a victim instead and be like, wow, life is really kicking me. I'm just going to lay here and take it. That's my character, I guess. But like we're choosing that, you know? And so that was like the bottom line for me through all the psychedelic experiences. Like, okay, it's my experience. That's it. No matter what happens, it's my experience. Like what I make of it. Like I can choose however I feel, whatever factors I can't control are going to contribute to that. But like bottom line, take the power, you know, like take the responsibility that this is your life. And, you know, if David Goggins can do what he does, or if any of us can, like, if there's so many good stories of like people who are like, nah, you know, and like they made it, they just kept pushing and pushing and never stopped. I think that's like where I love like the psychedelic experiences really helped me find those conclusions when I was in such dark places, you know what I mean? Where there was no light, there was no like, ah, shit, what am I going to do? Like there was like no even imagination at the time of like what I could do to get out of those situations. So sorry for that crazy psychedelic rant, but
No, not at all.
when you were there and when you're in that dark place, that's all you could think about is that dark place. You can't think about anything else besides that negative thing. And I think the power to think beyond that is so it's a key. Mm-hmm. It's a key to seeing something that's not there. And I think that's what happens, like, at least for me, like I can speak out of experience in reaching something. Whoa, that's loud.
I was like,
Like, wake up.
That's something that you have to like look upon. Like you have to see something that's not there, which is fucking crazy in itself. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Say you want to be the best at whatever you want to do in life. Mm-hmm. You have to look beyond, and you may suck at the beginning point, but you have to look beyond, like, what do I have to do to be the best version of myself at this thing that I'm trying to do?
yeah.
You have to be crazy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Little bit of crazy goes a long way.
Yeah, that obsession we were speaking about
Right.
earlier. Yeah, it's true. No, you do. And it's funny too, because like going in hand with this convo, it's like if everything was perfect, everything was great. I don't know. It just reminds me of like my grandpa, rest in peace. He would always tell me this thing where he's just like, there is such thing as good pressure, you know, in the world. And it's like, maybe pressure is not supposed to feel great, you know what I mean? But it makes some of the most beautiful things in the world. And sometimes that pressure is what helps you create that vision and that imagination. Because like sometimes you're just hitting the wall, I'm like, fuck, I'm tired of this. And like maybe that's another reason why we sparked that imagination a little. Like, hold on, I need to like visualize something that's gonna work for me. Because like this isn't, you know, and makes me think. It really trips me out. Just actually, like, this is my ADHD a little bit. But did you hear that there are some people who can't visualize things? Like, they, in their brain, can't visualize things. And some people, I think it might be the same group of people, don't have an inner monologue. I forget what the percentage is. It freaks me out.
Can you look that up?
Look
That
it up.
sounds crazy,
It's
dude.
crazy, but, like, I'm dropping facts, I swear. I still can't, because I'm like, I got that inner monologue and I'm very visual in my head. So like, I can't imagine what it is like to have a life outside of that. I cannot imagine it. Like, I just can't. Like, how do you process your day?
But
how do words come out of your mouth without like filtering them here first? You know what I mean? Like,
But isn't that part of your conscious?
that's what I thought. Like, it freaks me out.
Those that do not have an internal monologue may instead visualize their thoughts. This is called sensory
awareness.
Jesus Christ. Does it say anything about people that can't read on the screen?
No, but I can look it up.
What does that say? How rare is it to not have an inner monologue? What is that?
Yeah.
Is it rare?
What? It's a lot of people, dude. It's
An
like
estimated of 50 to 70% of the population doesn't have an internal monologue.
that scares me,
Lot.
bro.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Are they NPCs?
How can you-
Just kidding.
Let's see. What's the definition
How
of
can you?
internal monologue? 'Cause
How do they test for that?
Right? I don't know. It's like I just can't imagine a world without thinking in my head, like having that inner conversation with myself, you know?
Also referred to as internal dialogue, the voice inside your head, or an inner voice. Your internal monologue is the result of certain brain mechanisms that cause you to hear yourself talk in your head without actually speaking and forming sounds.
That's so crazy to me, bro.
What?
I never knew that people didn't have that.
Bugs me
Intrapersonal
out.
communication. Oh, okay. So intrapersonal communication is the communication that you have with yourself. So these people aren't able to have intrapersonal communication. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How do you test for that? How do you test for intrapersonal
fit,
communication?
Oh,
I'll take
see?
that test with you.
There's a connection between a person's inner monologue and intelligence. It's more likely for adults with developed verbal skills and higher IQ to have a wordier inner voice than children with less language development and lower IQ.
Damn, this ain't we smart.
However, some people access their internal monologue visually rather than audibly.
Oh, so they can see things.
See, that's weird to me that you're like reading your thoughts to yourself. You know what I mean? You're like,
Well, there's probably like pictures and video
I
that
feel like
runs
I do
through your head.
both.
I do both.
I do a little bit of both where I visualize a lot, but like there's something in my head speaking to myself also.
Yeah.
Speaking to
It's
me,
like narrating
Yeah.
my vision.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Right. Like, okay, I'm seeing this. Okay.
So
These
there's some
colors
people
and
who-
this and that and that and this and this and that and that. And that.
Maybe they just don't have that narrator.
But they
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah. And they just speak
But
it.
how does it not translate into
Fucks me up still.
language? Because I feel like even if you're looking at something, anything, right? Anything. Right now I'm looking at the screen and then I'm thinking of like the screen and what it looks like and this and that. Like I'm talking still in my brain as I'm talking. I can't see someone visualizing something and not talking about it.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm at with it, and that's where it messes me up because I just can't imagine it. You know, like I just can't imagine. Like, yeah, it's difficult for me to wrap my mind around because I'm just I'm very loud in my head. There's always something, some chatter. You know what I mean?
I do. Do you speak Spanish?
I speak some Spanish. I understand a lot more. Yeah, in Portugal.
Do you think in like? I mean, well, Spanish isn't your like.
No, I think in English and
just in
speak it
English?
in Spanish. Yeah. Yeah, most of the times. At least, I haven't caught myself yet thinking in Spanish. But I've heard my grandpa experiencing that before, where he'd be like, sometimes he goes back and forth on that.
Yeah, that's how my brain works. I think of things within both languages, and then sometimes it's even like today it happened to me when we were talking to one of my staff members. I was trying to tell him the taste of like peanuts when you roast them, right? But I couldn't think of the word roasting. So I could only think of it in Spanish was like tatemar.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh. And I like I could not for the life of me think of roast because my brain was thinking, I knew what I wanted to say, but it was thinking in Spanish, and the Spanish part of like my words were not letting the English part.
That's funny.
Kind of. And I mean, roast is like such an easy word. It's not like it's a complex word, but I could not for the life of me think of the word in English. And I was like, when you put it over the fire and you put like a pan, like I had to describe what it was, but I still could not think of the word in English. And he's like, oh, roast. And I was like, oh, yeah,
that's funny.
roast.
I hate how there are Spanish words like that, though, because like whenever I'm trying to communicate with my grandma, I'd be like, ¿Cómo se dicen? And then try to describe it in English. And she's like, nah, dude, there's no word for
right?
that. And you're like, shit. Like, I don't know how else to tell you.
I agree. I don't think that every word in English has a translation for it in Spanish and vice versa.
It's like Doyers, there's no other way to say it.
Another way to say it. So look, here signs you have an inner monologue. So talking to yourself out loud, hearing your voice in your head while reading, complete with tone and effect, rehearsing conversations or presentations in your head, having conversations with yourself in your head.
All those boxes checked for me.
Me too. What about you?
I'm doing that all the 1 through 4 right now.
You're like, all at once.
So I'm good. All at once.
Do you want to see that dolphin video real quick? Just so you know I'm not full of shit. So we could just fact check everything I've said here today as a sound. No.
So people that have inner monologues is only 30 to 50%.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
we're the weird ones then.
We're odd.
Is it weird that most of my friends have inner monologues and that's...
How about this? How about what if what we think is our inner monologue, it's not?
No, because I could hear that shit. Like, I said no in my head before I said, I was like, no way.
It can't happen?
Maybe you attract other people with inner monologues.
Right? That would make sense. Naturally, like we think alike. Although it's funny you said that because I had a buddy. He hasn't smoked. I don't know why. I'm usually that guy. I'm like, want to smoke some weed? And they're like, yeah, I'll take a hit. And then like they take it. I'm like, I haven't smoked in over 10 years. Like, shit. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm 10 days sober. Thanks,
I'm at
Joe.
my step 11 of my 12-step program.
Thanks, Joe. You've been so cool. Let's hit that. And my buddy's like, I'm never getting high again. And I was like, why? I was like, I got stuck in my room. And I was like, I wonder if I could think a number, but then say a random other number. Or if I could think a color, like think orange, but then while I'm thinking it, I say red. And I'm just like, what? He's like, yeah, I got stuck for 30 minutes doing that. Don't ever offer me weed again. And I was like, all right, my bad. He definitely has an inner monologue, though, is what I'm guessing from this study we're doing.
Sounds like it.
And what is this? What's the dolphin thing?
Oh, this motherfucker's getting high.
But something far more extraordinary seems to be
Dude, this
happening.
shit blows my mind every time. Poor pufferfish, bro. He's just chilling.
Pufferfish release a neurotoxin.
Watch, look at their eyes,
In
dude.
high doses, it can kill, but in small doses, it has a narcotic effect.
Ew. Pufferfish.
It seems to be affecting the dolphin.
Look at these fuckers' eyes. That's the best part. Tasteful music.
They appear totally blissed out by the
That
whole
fool is lit,
experience.
bro.
Look at him.
They're all lit.
I'm lit as a dolphin right now.
Stupid.
That's a new thing, dude.
I'm wet as a dolphin. I'm gonna make that shit pop for sure. Oh, that's a good
Turns
one.
in passing the puffer around.
I'm dolphin lit, bro.
I'm Joe from Rare Hearts. I'm wet as a
This
fucking
is the
dolphin.
first time that apparent recreational drug use has been documented in
God damn, those fools look lit.
Bottlenose dolphins are filmed apparently getting high on secretions from
If the dolphin's otherwise
pufferfish.
Not poor
engaged,
pufferfish.
the
I'm gonna
puffer
keep saying it.
deflates.
I'm motherfucking
He's
an ass
free
for
to
this.
go on his way.
Secretions.
It looks like they will be distracted for quite some time.
I wonder how high they are for.
Probably just gonna have an orgy like other mammals.
I feel like dolphins are like the closest to humans in like the water.
In brain capacity?
In like
Or
water.
just oceanic mammals?
No, I feel like brain capacity. They're just
Yeah.
really smart.
They got some evil sides. To them,
Yeah,
too.
no, and
Like,
I was
real
gonna
fucked
get
up
to that
sides.
where they've
You want to
like,
say it? I don't want to say it.
yeah, they've like sexually assaulted like humans.
Heard
and
about
then,
that, yeah.
like they go for it or
They go for it.
they go for it.
They know what they're doing.
No, they do like
They're
those
mammals.
all those
They got an internal monologue for sure.
like
She's
the ones where
fucking
you go
down.
to swim, like you go and swim with a dolphin, like oh.
Yeah.
There's a video and the girl's like sitting at the edge like
Oh,
that of the
yeah.
thing, and then she's like oh petting him, and then he jumps out of the water and he's like on top of
He's
her.
like humping her. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and they were like, "Oh shit!" Like, yeah,
Yo, that's a weird caption down there. Plants that eat animals. Holy fuck.
and they're known to gang RAPE.
Mm-hmm.
That's like their thing.
Wait, spell that again? I missed it.
No.
Okay, gang that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't say that.
no, I didn't. I'm like,
She spelled it out.
Okay.
let your inner monologue read that.
Yeah,
Spell it
yeah.
out.
Wait, I don't have one. I can't.
I don't have one. What do you do if you don't have one?
I don't know. It freaks me out, but it freaks me out that we're like the weird ones now. 30 to 50% of us.
We're the
have it in
minority.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I'm like, how the fuck are you guys functioning in this world?
What do you do when like when you're drunk or when you're intoxicated? Like what is that dynamic
I
work?
feel like mine shuts off when
Oh,
I'm
it fucks me up.
Right?
whenever I've been drunk.
Well, when I've blacked out, it for sure has, because there ain't nothing there.
Right.
Have you ever seen yourself in a video while being blacked out, though?
Mm-hmm.
That shit fucked me up. Like, I was like, hey, like just completely like posing. And I'm like,
It's like
I don't
you-
remember that.
yeah,
You
at
want to see
all.
one recent? No, just kidding.
It's like
Yeah,
you,
let's
but
see
not
it.
you.
Yeah.
You want me
How
to
can-
show you one of Gil recently?
How
I
can we
wanna
get
see,
that on the
yes, yes.
screen?
Put that shit up. man.
How?
Yeah.
I could send it to the Mind Buzz.
Okay, send it.
want to?
I'll watch it. It'll be cringe, but it's fine.
Are you sure?
I'm serious.
I'll watch.
Is it of me
Which
doing the
one?
grito? Do you have one that?
I have one of you dancing and doing the grito.
Okay.
What do you want?
The grito. Because it's more, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. Surprise me. I haven't watched any of
No,
them.
the grito one is like a millisecond.
Wow.
So,
Just like,
I can't believe you are.
That's
'Cause,
fine.
He
Was-
didn't,
it was
he didn't
just
even want to see
tequila
him
right
in
here?
my.
It was a mezcal, huh? Feed him a mezcal. Did it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say yeah.
That's good.
Let's see.
But it was, we're like sipping on tequila, beers,
Oh yeah, mixed it up.
mix it up a little bit.
Joints maybe.
And he's over here telling me, he's like, "Oh, I'm giving everybody shots, and I'm only taking water." And I was like, "Oh, good for you." And then later on, I was like, "You weren't taking just water.
Taking shots, my boy.
Why are you trying to hide it?"
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's awesome. That reminds me of that.
Wait, where did I send it?
Uh-oh.
Did you send it to?
The wrong person. Uh-oh.
Dang.
Oh no, there it went through. It hadn't gone through.
Uh-oh. No. Who got it?
Oh, no!
Boom.
Oh.
It needs the latest.
Wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Mm-mm.
Dang.
Are you? What about? Do you want? Is you can't?
No, I
Oh, because it's
can't.
of me dancing. I was
Yeah.
like, you
Oh,
can't
it's a
hear me
video.
dancing.
Yeah. I blacked out in Vegas recently. It fucked me up because there was like a good 4 hours I don't remember, but I was just with my buddies the whole time. And I haven't blacked out in years, so I was just like, all I know is this. This is what fucked me up. We got there, we're already like 6 beers in. We get to, was it Fullerton? I forget what, Fremont. I've never Vegased before ever, so they're like, oh fuck it, we'll drink. All right, cool. Do like 2 shots while we're on that strip, but it's like double shots. And I remember being like, this might not be the best idea. I had 2 fish tacos waiting for me in the car because we just got back from a Mexican restaurant. Next day, I'm like, what the fuck happened to my tacos? Like, I don't remember eating them, but there's no trace of them anywhere. Like, I'm just like, what happened to my tacos? No one knows. I don't know.
It's still like an unsolved mystery.
Yeah, they were
now,
like, I don't know what happened to your tacos. And I was like, I was with you guys the whole time. Like,
I wonder what like the science behind that is, because
eat them.
Because your body, I mean, unless you're like laid out, right? But like when I used to drink and that I blacked out before, like I was like fully functioning, like dancing, drinking, eating, having conversations, and I was out, like I was blacked out. And everyone's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, like I only remember to this point. And I wonder what the science behind like your body being able to completely.
We have a supercomputer right here, so look it up.
Yeah, let's look it up.
Find out.
I've heard something along the lines of it's like your brain is overheating or something like that, and it's like it just goes into auto control or like autopilot because it's like based on what your subconscious picks you up doing. So it's like your subconscious trying to imitate you as best as it can. While your like brain essentially is going on autopilot because it's like, it's too hot in here, we're checking out the conscious for right now, or something along those lines. I hope that I'm right.
That sounds right.
Sounds right.
That sounds cool.
Your brain when you black out. Let's see.
Saturday, 12 p.m. The light burns, your head throbs, and you have no recollection of how you got back home. Don't worry, you're not alone. More than half of college students experience blackouts, according to several studies. And let's be clear, blacking out doesn't mean passing out. You were probably awake and aware the entire night. So then, where did all those memories go?
Dude, what happened last night, bro?
Let's rewind to Friday night. Normally, whenever you have an experience, like a conversation, a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex stores that information in short-term memory. Then another part of your brain, called the hippocampus, weaves those experiences together so they can be stored away as long-term memories. So the next day, you remember the party as a whole, instead of smell of sweat, house music, Jen was there. But here's the key part. Storing these episodes in long-term memory requires special neurotransmitters. But your liquor shots prevent the neurotransmitters from working properly. So, instead of remembering the party, all you have is an incomplete or even empty file. And the amount of alcohol in your system at the time influences how much you remember. Let's say you're a 73-kilogram adult man, and you've done 8 shots in 1 hour. Your blood alcohol content is probably around 0.2% by this point.
Jesus.
More than twice the legal limit for driving a car. And your brain may still be able to store some memories.
8
so
shots?
you end up with islands of memories separated by missing sections. That's called a fragmentary blackout, aka a grayout or brownout.
So
Brownout.
But if you keep pounding those shots, it gets worse.
You keep pounding.
Within the next half hour, you pound back another 4 shots.
Pound back.
Now your blood alcohol content hits around 0.3%, and your hippocampus goes dark, and full amnesia sets in. This is called an en-bloc blackout.
Yeah.
And once you wake up, that entire night could be blank. Push your BAC much higher than that, and you might die. And yet, your friends might not even realize you're in the middle of a blackout, since the alcohol didn't delete your long-term memories already safe in storage before the night began. So you can still carry on conversations and behave more or less like a typical person, to an extent. Blackouts aside, alcohol can still interfere with other regions of your brain, including those responsible for reasoning and decision-making. So during blackouts, people have crashed cars, gotten into fights, and committed or been the victims of sexual assault. They might just not remember it. That being said, not everyone gets blackouts. Your sex, body weight, and family history all play a role.
What?
So that could explain why your friends recall the entire night, despite downing just as much tequila. But it won't save them from a wicked hangover the next morning.
That brings up two things for me. Like,
The first thing is that's what happens when you drink tequila. But when you drink firme mezcal,
Sorry.
that doesn't happen.
and you're right, it doesn't. It's clean. It's clean tequila.
What were you gonna say then?
One of them was that I've totally blacked out and woke up with like a bunch of McDonald's in my car and been like, how the fuck? It's like, fuck, I was driving? That's horrible, but damn, I went to McDonald's? Like, I don't even remember eating? Like, that's fucked up.
So
like,
we know
that's the best part.
we know your subconscious likes McDonald's.
Hell yeah, and it knows how to get home safe.
Dude, that's
Knock on wood. I'm not saying it. I'm not like endorsing
Condoning.
drinking
We're
it.
not
Yeah,
condoning
not at
drinking and
all.
driving.
I think it's fucked up. It's a stupid choice to make.
drink responsibly if you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Have a plan.
Uber, Lyft.
Uber, Lyft,
Way
call your
more.
friend, call your mama, call your grandma, your daddy.
I guess
Hi,
it's the
baby
same.
mama.
I guess it's the same concept as when you're driving during the day and you're stuck in your thoughts, and then all of a sudden you're home and you're like, "How the fuck did I get here?" Right? Without like actually having substance, I guess. So your brain is still working and it's on autopilot. Like,
Yeah. That long-term memory remembers who you are and how you interact, which is like so crazy. That's so crazy to think about. Like, you were gonna say something though.
About the driving part. You can be blacked out drunk, but still
Fucking
get home safe and sound.
Yeah.
That was the worst part of when
Yeah, for sure.
that experiences of that was waking up, the confusion, the cloudy, the whatever, you may feel like shit, but also like, I fucking drove home like this. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
like,
that part.
that's the scary part. That the fear of the unknown. Like, what? Like, of course you could have done something. Could have happened.
Yeah,
from
that's
point
what you
A
don't want
to point B. That
life-changing shit.
that is
Yeah.
scary.
I think that's what pioneered
It's
me.
terrifying.
To
It is
Just
100%.
stop. For me, it was that waking up and having that. What the fuck did I do now?
Mm-hmm.
How did I get here? What did I do? What embarrassing shit did I do? What did like that feeling of just like you can't take it back? And then everyone's like texting like, "Oh, it was so much fun. You should have seen yourself." And I'm like,
That reminds me of the other thing is that like I've been on the other end of it where I blacked out for like a whole, like it was one of the sickest parties I've ever gone to, and there's like I have a bunch of conspiracies as to what happened that night. It was July 2020, the heat of the pandemic. Everything over here is on lockdown, and I somehow am going to like the C-list celebrity party in Laguna Beach, and everything's open, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And like I was like, all right, get rid of the mask, like, because no one at this party was gonna have a mask. It would have been weird. And there's a lot of substances going around, and I think I got a hold of the wrong one at some point and like completely blacked out. But like the next day, I'm there at this like mansion, and this guy walks up to me, and he was like kind of a big deal at this house, and he's like, man, remember what you said to me like right here by the stairs? Like, you changed my life. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, bro, but I don't remember anything from that. And he was just so disappointed. And I was like, what did I tell you? He just walked away. He was pissed. And I was like, I wish I'd known what I said, because, well, he seems really disappointed now. Don't black out. Don't do drugs.
That's wild, dude. Laguna Beach in the summer of 2020.
July,
mask.
early. It was like probably... Sorry, Johnny. My brother's birthday, I think, actually, because his birthday is July 10th, and I remember it was like around that day. Like, and I just like, you know, I don't think I did anything for my little brother that time, because I was like fucked up over there. And it was probably one of the most interesting parties I had ever gone to. Like, I'm holding back a lot of information because like I don't feel like I should.
That was a wild time, dude.
Because those motherfuckers down there were like, this is a poor person thing. That's like some people literally said that shit, bro. And I was like, what? I was like, shit. And I was like,
Wait, hold on. That the pandemic was a poor people thing?
Yeah.
What?
Bro,
I heard
all
That's
of
a thing?
All of Laguna Beach was open in that moment. At least like the parts I passed through, like, I saw a heavy amount of people outside. I saw restaurants open. I was like, yo, but I'm from Eagle Rock. It's like not a horrible place by any means. It's a pretty nice place. And everything is shut down. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, this is such a crazy time. Because like obviously Laguna Beach is almost its own like private little sector.
Right.
It's like one road to get in. It's their own little beach town at that.
Right, because at that time it was like a weird, this confusing time where cities were doing their own thing, counties were doing
Especially
their
the
own
beach
thing.
counties. They're like, fuck
States
this.
were doing,
up.
yeah.
And that was one of them. Laguna Beach. They're like, nope. July 2020. Yeah, it was a crazy. Wasn't that right
That's
before
right.
George Floyd?
Yeah. Yeah, because the George Floyd thing happened in the summer.
It was like in July, right? When that happened?
That whole time was just
It's
freaking
a fucked up time.
weird. Is the weirdest thing ever. I wonder if that's ever going to happen again in history.
I hope not.
Knock on wood, I hope it doesn't.
Like, no.
Not in this lifetime, right? But I think as we move closer into the future, like how many other pandemics have there been without us? Like, has there been
The Spanish one.
I heard, but like
Before
wasn't
that.
such a big deal apparently. And also,
I'm thinking
yeah.
before that in history, because you look at the history
Black
of
Plague, you'd have to imagine, right?
yeah. But look at the how old the world is, right?
Mhm.
How old the Earth is. We are like, it could be this big. Where's my, as big as a frame, right? But human existence has only been
it's
like
even less than the frame.
this.
Yeah.
It's only been this, and there's only been one? I don't think so. I think there's been hundreds, maybe millions of things like the pandemic that has happened to other civilizations. Maybe that's why other civilizations are not here anymore, because
Possible, yeah.
they hit that something like a pandemic happened to their civilizations, and they were never able to recover from it.
Well, even like when
I feel that.
when like the Spanish people came to, conquer like Mexican.
They're
like-
visiting.
no, they were there to
just
conquer.
passing through.
They're just coming by. I'm
they-
gonna check out all this gold you have over here.
Just
But
checking,
they-
just checking if it's real.
They brought disease to the natives that they had never, and their
Yeah.
body had never,
Yeah.
ever seen or ever endured. And in a sense, that was their pandemic too.
Right.
So I think any like major, like maybe like the influenza, the flu that now to us is nothing. At some point, it was a pandemic.
It's a big deal.
Measles, chickenpox, like you were saying, the plague, all these things at some point were. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, how many other things were there before?
And then also, to your guys' point, something that blew my mind about the whole thing was, and it really opened the door for like, wow, the possibilities really are endless. Because like, and I mean, this says a lot of where we were in society, because it definitely wasn't everyone's experience. Some people like had it really bad where they couldn't stop and they had to keep pushing through this crazy time. But for me, I just realized, I was like, whoa, I did not think the world could pause like that. You know what I mean? Like the world was still happening, but like not the way it, like everyone was like, no, we're pausing. Like timeout is in like the law now. Like you need to stay home, like worldwide for at least first world citizens. Like that's how it was. It was like, no, you're staying in, you're stopping everything you're doing, which from, living in a capitalistic society and living in like coming from the hood where it was like just always surviving, there's no such thing as stopping. You know what I mean? So like that fucked me up big time. I was like, yo, what? Like, hold on, you could do that? That's what really fucked me up more than anything. Cause like there's like this like idea that like you can never stop. Like the world can't stop or it'll break apart. And maybe that's true to some extent that I don't understand. but it felt like the world was frozen for 2 years for a lot of people. I mean, there was like the real heroes who are still not recognized from the pandemic, like the Uber drivers and the restaurants and the, like, you know, like the people who kept everything going. Like they had it really, they must have had it the worst, you know what I mean? Because like some of us were like just at home, just like, I guess we're on pause, which like blows my fucking mind.
I think there was like something in the history, or there's something it was probably happening before the pandemic. Like there was like, maybe like you said, like pressure. There was like maybe all this pressure from all sides of the universe
Make us like
coming together, right? And then at certain point, it just reached a certain threshold to where it's like, okay, like we got to stop at some point. Let's throw a pandemic into the mix.
Oh my God.
And then maybe it's an evolutionary thing too, right? Like maybe back in the day, the plague happens because you're like,
there's too many people with bad teeth in England, and we got to get rid of these fuckers.
I'm tired of these motherfuckers. I like to always fantasize, at least, and think that like religion is just like some, and this is not like my belief, but like I said, like, okay, so just what is it? Just to clarify, I'm not big into biting into conspiracies, but I'm big into entertaining myself with them. Like one of my favorite ones is like the hollow earth theory. Like that's a really intriguing idea. Sometimes I come up with my own. Sometimes some of the movie ideas I write are based on conspiracy theory ideas anyways. I'm just like, yeah, let's double down on that shit and like let's make a movie out of it. But one of my favorite ones I think of is that religion is just us misperceiving beings with higher technology and higher say in where what we should be doing and higher power of knowledge, period, you know? I always love to have that perspective on it because like you look at society and you look at our history and it's like we don't know where we come from. But I think it's to your point, so many societies, either disease or just infrastructure,
famine,
whatever, like imploding on itself. And you lose the history and the technology that they've used. I mean, the fucking pyramids alone. You're just like,
100%.
How did they build that shit? Like, like there's a science to it, but like it still is hard to wrap your mind around. Like, no, humans did that without the tech we have today. And even if with the tech we have today, that'd be really hard to pull off. Like, I don't know. It's definitely interesting to think about.
I like Paul Mooney's thing to where he was like, he's like, white people make up like the dumbest conspiracy theories about the pyramids. Like, nah, fool, there were slaves. Slaves built the pyramids.
I have to hear that full.
Paul Mooney's great.
Is that the same guy who made that joke? He's like, we know exactly who built the pyramids in Mexico.
Oh, he could. I don't know. There's so many
There's
people
a lot
that,
of, yeah.
But when do you think that conspiracy is like, when is it too far? Because I was reading an article.
It's never too far.
No,
I know some. I got some examples.
No, I think there is. It is too far on some people, right? Because I feel like there's people that can handle them, like maybe yourself, right? I'm speculating, but
maybe I don't know.
But someone that can handle, or I can, right? I can hear them and I can handle them or whatever. But I make my own decision in like what I choose to put as reality versus science, right? I'm more on the scientific side of things where I'm like, okay, it doesn't sound logical.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was seeing today an article of a man, a dad, that took both of his children, so like a 2-year-old and I think a 6-month-old.
Mm-hmm.
He crossed into Rosarito and he unalived them, both. And
unalived them?
Yeah, he killed them both.
Oh, yeah, wow. Holy shit.
His own children. And
that's some like Llorona shit. Right
yeah,
there.
right.
That's...
Like he took his kids. And then he tried to cover it. And then tried to come back into the States. And the only reason that they knew that was because the wife, as soon as he took them, she called 911. Like she knew something was wrong. So his text messages to her are like very like, I did it. I did it for us. I did it for mankind. I did it for the survival. They had serpent's blood, and I knew we both knew it. Like,
Oh, hell
you know,
no.
I'm saving the earth from them and from everything else to come. Like, so they were saying that he was like so invested in conspiracy theories and all this to the point where it made him think that his children were like these like evil beings, and that he was serving the entire universe by killing them. And I was just like, fuck, like there has to be something psychologically wrong, right? And with someone that like is like that invested, or you just think that they're just like,
I think maybe it's just like you want to believe certain things to where you just trick your mind into believing them. And find, like, because our brains are always looking for patterns in anything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe to him, he was finding all these patterns to why his children had serpent's blood or whatever he thought, you know? It doesn't still justify what he did,
no,
but
not at all.
I mean, our brains are weird. They do things to...
Well, you want
us.
something to live for, right? Like something bigger than yourself.
Exactly.
So my family, like, so I told you I'm writing like a story like that. I'm planning on trying to do a short film within the year, if I can, and it's called Bruja, and it's based on real life events that I experienced at my grandma's house. Like, holy shit, this place is like the most haunted place I've ever experienced, and I've lived there my whole life. And the thing is that there are a lot of people who've witnessed things, like they're with me, like that we've witnessed together, that you're like, how do you explain this shit, you know? And you learn, I guess, growing up in an environment like that, and also like my family, we come from Yucatan, so we have like very Mayan like based blood, and feel very connected to that spiritual, like, you know, side of things, and filling things out and respecting spaces and spirits and stuff like that. At least for me. And I don't know, man, like you experience shit like that, right? And you're just like, it really just, I don't know, for me it just like takes me for a spin, because you're like, it's unexplainable what is happening here. And damn, that mezcal's good, because I lost the point of this. I forgot how I started here. I was like, I had a good point. We're talking about conspiracies.
Your grandma's house.
Bruja.
Bruja.
Real-life experiences. You said something that sparked that.
patterns that we see.
Oh, yeah.
We're always
things that we
finding,
wanna-
we're looking for things. We're always finding, our
Exactly.
brain finds patterns, and it could be, it doesn't have to be a puzzle, but our brain makes us think that there are, you know, there is a puzzle
Yeah, and
when there's clearly not.
and what you said brought me back, because it made me realize like that like I liked those events, because it made me feel like, oh, this is bigger than me. Like there's
Right.
something more to my life. Like there's this crazy thing that's happening.
That's a human, that's what we want. That's a human need. We need Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We need to be a part of something.
Yep.
We need it. Community. Whatever it is.
It's true. And it's funny because like all the haunted shit that's happened at that house that we've all experienced, people related to us, we have very specific memories that tell a story. But I was looking into it, and there's this thing about like memory via association or something. I forget what it is, the specific term, but it's essentially talking about people creating false memories because you've heard so many similar stories growing up. So for 20 years, you hear about everyone has one little story about how they experienced something weird and off-putting there. And because you've heard that for so long, it's reinforced this whole idea and entity and or imagination that there's this bigger thing happening there. And so now every time something unexplainable happens, you're just like building on that. Like, oh no, and then this, you know what I mean? It could just be a weird wiring thing, who knows? But for so many years, people have told this now and experienced this thing that they don't understand. And now it's like created a life of its own where it's like, yeah, I look at my grandma's and to the point where I'm writing a movie on it called Bruja, because I'm like, oh shit, there's, you know what I mean? Like there's so many stories to build on now. and experiences. But yeah, like you said, we're looking for patterns. It made me feel better. And I remember talking to a friend at one point. I'm like, I think I'm just really buying into this because it just feels like it's bigger than, like, it makes my life feel bigger than it normally would. Because otherwise I'm just like, yeah, this like sentient thing on this rock flying through space and nothing really matters and everything matters, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, but then you have that one, like, there's a ghost here though. Hold on. Hold on.
This changes everything.
God spoke to me.
Right.
Listen to me. Look at this. Look at this, you guys. I'm a little more I'm unique.
Yeah. But I mean, it's that need to fit yourself or fit whatever you're experiencing or to make sense of certain things. Because we want things to make sense. We want to have reasons. Yeah, we want to have reasons for stuff that we experience, and sometimes they may not make sense to other people, but our brain tricks us into saying, yes, this makes sense.
Yep.
Take your children to the river and drown them. That's fucking wild, dude.
That is some crazy next level shit for sure.
Yeah. I don't know how that can happen, but it did happen, dude.
There's diseases, man. People get, unexplained. I mean, I'm sure people who've done that are like probably schizophrenic or something without being diagnosed. And it's such in the past usually, right? Like shit, like, dude, in the 80s, you can get away with anything. They probably didn't even know about half of that shit. And like, I don't know, those guys just sing shit.
Half of the outfits people got away with in the 1980s.
Yeah, for real, the 80s.
The haircuts were freaking...
Well, I think that's what, like
indoor glasses.
Indoor glasses. Like
cocaine.
Mental health, like back when like the Salem witch trials and all that stuff, like it was probably people that had, that were schizophrenic or had some kind of mental issue and they didn't know what it was, and it was like a demon.
But there's also an ergot.
I was gonna say your theory.
There's also a theory that the wheat got a germ and their crops got infested with ergot, which is the major component in like mescaline and LSD. No, not mescaline. In LSD.
LSD, yeah, that's like
it's a germ. It's like an ergot,
rye bread, right?
Yeah. So that their crops got infested with this chemical, and they're eating the bread. They're making all the shit from the wheat. That these girls, they weren't, seeing demons and stuff or experiencing anything supernatural. That they were just tripping on ergot. Isn't that a wild one?
I've heard something like that, where like apparently the prophets who wrote the Gospels and whatnot, like each prophet who contributed to that, not each, I guess that's like a big statement, but I think apparently some of them were like high as shit on rye bread, like rotten rye bread. And supposedly, I think Ezekiel, I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, honestly, but I just remember hearing something along those lines. Like they theorized that like some of those dudes were high as shit on essentially acid.
Yeah, like Moses, there's a theory about Moses and the burning bush, that the burning bush had, it was, the acacia tree was high in dimethyltryptamine.
Shit, DMT.
And it was burning, and because what happened, are you familiar with the Bible?
Yeah, my grandpa was a deacon.
So after that that initial burning of the bush, right? Doesn't he like vision? Doesn't he have like a vision of Gabriel the angel coming down and I forget the story, but
I do too. But
he tells him, Gabriel the angel tells him like the stuff that Moses has to do for God.
It would make sense to me only because, like I said, I had that real experience where some entity came at me on DMT and was like, "Hey, bro, like, you need to stop worrying.
Go write the Bible.
Thinking about all this shit. Yeah, go write the Bible. Is that what you said?
Go write the Bible. Go up to a hill and hold 2 stones. I'm gonna just make up 10 fucking wild things. Make 3 of them. Just say exactly the same, but just different.
I know this is I can survive 4 days, no food or water. I think I might be able to receive some kind of messages from high as shit up there.
Yeah, you have to.
Might be able to go a couple more days.
Another book reference is you have to check out, if you're interested like in like the Bible theories and psychedelia, check out The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross by John M. Allegro. Awesome freaking book. She's going to pull it up. It's an amazing book, and it tells about all these.
What is it called again? I'm so sorry.
The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross by John M. Allegro. He talks about all these different lore, like all the stories in the Bible are all written by, or like were written from like mushroom cults before the time of the Bible was written. So they had to before like all the I guess the people from England going into like the native cities and states or whatever, they needed to hide all these mushroom cult stories. So the way that they did it was through the Bible. So essentially, the Bible is like not a blueprint, but like something that
like a ghostwriter,
like ghostwriting, but like there's subliminal messaging inside the
like you'd
inside
have to be a part of the cult to like pick it up,
right?
Easter eggs. I would love to believe some shit like that. Like I love that kind of stuff. Like that one movie I was telling you about, or a story, I shouldn't say movie. Restart that's based on the Stone Ape theory. Like there's definitely like I love just having like secret culture fashions in the back. You know what I mean? Like playing their role and making things happen.
Yeah.
I mean that's like I think pretty spot on in what happens in the world, anyways, right?
And this guy John M. Allegro was the only secular person that found because he was on a like a panel of like scientists and different people that were reading this the Dead Sea Scrolls. So when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, he actually like read them, and he was thinking like through language and the different interpretations of the Bible, it got misinterpreted.
Yeah, that can make sense.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to.
And he was, and before that, he was the only secular person. So, the other people on the panel, they had the religious mindset already, thinking like, oh, these are from God, and we're finding these for a reason. Him, on the other hand, because he was secular and didn't believe in God, and he wasn't a religious person, he was looking at it through a different lens, and through his lens was, this is like a cult from like thousands and thousands of years ago. A mushroom cult, no less. A psychedelic mushroom cult.
That's interesting. I'm definitely going to read that book. I'm getting that book.
It's crazy, huh?
That's a really cool, I like that. I used to love shit like that. Like when I was younger, I'd get at my grandpa a lot about like the forgotten or the forbidden gospels. Like you ever hear about that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They're like one of them. I've never read them all.
Oh, they're like books that didn't make it into the Testament.
They were like, we're not going to talk about this. Like, you know,
I've
we
heard
don't
something about
acknowledge
it.
this as being like accurate enough, or this just doesn't fall. Like, you know, the Vatican, they're like super powerful, and they're like, this is what goes. This is not gonna like those. No, don't count for those. Those don't count for us. We don't see that as like aligning with their views. But there's one that I remember like looking into a little bit, and it was really cool because it was just talking about Jesus going east, like to Asia, and like I think like learning about like Buddhism or something like that, you know. And then before he comes back, you know, like he goes that route.
There's a whole piece,
or India, Asia, something like that. I forget what it is.
There's a whole piece of Jesus's life that the Bible doesn't talk about,
because he disappeared, right? Like for a sick ass
something like
time.
that. Yeah.
And I think that's what it's about. The forbidden gospels, apparently. I don't know what I'm saying here, 100. That's just some shit I remember seeing back in the day, like when I was like, conspiracy, ooh, this is interesting, forbidden gospel. Ooh, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. This dude's hippie as fuck. Like, I like this.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy therapist. I think that's where
out of you.
I think that's where that comes from. But dude, listen to the book, read it.
Check it out.
Let me know what you think the next time you come on here.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, This was fucking awesome, dude.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on to the podcast. Tell us where we can find you and what you got coming up.
Thanks, man. Well, you can find me at I Am Rare Hearts for any social media plug. And look out for our show at Harvard and Stone, July 26th. That's going to be a big show for us, Rare Hearts, and some music coming out soon. So thank you guys for having me, and I hope to be back soon.
That one, right?
Yep, that's the show.
Cool.
With Gunnar Lee, really talented guy. It's going to be a fun show. I've never played at Harvard and Stone, so it's like an honor almost.
We'll post it on the story. Check it out, dude. And then we'll put all the links that Joe just talked about are going to be down in the show description if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on Spotify, go check out his music. Go check him out. You've heard him for 2 hours and a half. Isn't he a cool motherfucker? Go check out his fucking music, especially my personal favorite, Good Times.
Thank you guys so much.
It's awesome, dude. No, thank you for coming out, bro.
Oh, my pleasure, truly.
We got to get you out here again. This was awesome.
Please, and I have my guitar, so next time I could play you guys some personals if you want.
You and Justin. How
Oh,
about
100%,
that?
yeah.
That'd be wild.
I love that. You know, I almost came along for that first one you did with Justin. I was like, got busy, unfortunately.
Oh, that was wild, dude.
Yeah.
Did he tell you about that?
Yeah, the whole like something got. Well, I heard the other recording. Yeah, he told me he's like they lost it all. I was like, no way.
At first, it was the gardener situation that kept on interrupting us.
Oh man.
And then the recording
you guys supported
bullshit,
him, right?
dude.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
It was hard.
So it was haunted.
Heartbreaking.
That was haunted. It's like the light going out right now.
That was scary.
Well, it's
The Mind Buzz Podcast.
Peace and love. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
That
That
was
was
awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Mind Buzz podcast. Subscribe to the Mind Buzz YouTube channel and watch full podcast episodes. Keep up with the hosts, guests, and upcoming events by following the Mind Buzz on Instagram at the Mind Buzz. See you on the next one.